You're under arrest for the murder of William and Hilda Stone.
Everything is going according to plan.
These tests can't be right. Run them again. I can't be.
Lori, I can't do this. I can't let you get hurt.
Jacob, if you keep trying to get Nyla out, you might end up in there with her.
The Stone Empire is crumbling.
Your family got her into this, Jacob. Fix it.
Jacob, what are we going to do?
We're gonna fight like hell.
Say Less, I Love You. Season 4, Episode 10.
Chapter 354, Lori. I'm halfway through a restless dream, shallow waves lapping over my feet, the sky overhead dark and glittering with distant stars, when the sharp rap of knuckles on my door jolts me awake. My eyes snap open to find myself not on any free shore, but still locked in the same lavish suite, the same four walls, the same hush of captive nights. I push up onto my elbows. It's definitely late. The night outside my balcony is lit by a half moon, casting pale light across the ocean. They never summon me at this hour unless something unusual is happening, and every nerve in my body bristles with warning. Strands of my hair cling to my cheek as I swing my legs over the side of the bed. Another knock, 2 quick taps, then a pause, then one final rap. That's the signal Lucius's staff uses whenever they're about to disrupt my so-called routine. Routine. A bitter laugh catches in my throat. Nothing is routine about living as a pampered prisoner on an island fortress, forced to wear dresses chosen by a controlling madman. I roll my shoulders, smoothing down the thin, gauzy nightgown Lucius insisted I wear. Everything in this suite, down to the color of my undergarments, follows his whims. A flash of disgust heats my chest as I cross the room, bare feet silent on cool marble. At the door stands an attendant, a young woman with eyes brimming with apology. She bows her head slightly. "Miss Lori," she whispers, as though afraid any louder volume might invite trouble. "We need you to get ready. He's expecting you in less than an hour." My pulse jolts. Expecting me for what? It's the middle of the night. She avoids my gaze. "He'll explain. You must dress nicely. There's a plane waiting." A plane? The island is far from the city, a multi-hour trip if you're traveling by sea, and an hour or more by private jet. I got the information from the guards and the maids in this place when I probed secretly, pretending I'm docile. My scalp prickles with a confusing rush of dread and faint hope. Possibly I'm leaving this place. Even if it's under watch, it's a change from the suffocating daily cycle. "Fine," I say, crossing my arms. "What does he want me to wear?" Her uneasy glance flicks to the wardrobe along the far wall. He picks something. It's laid out. I'm sorry. She turns on her heel, slipping away, and the door shuts behind her. My chest constricts. Every time he has me dress for an outing, I end up watching him conduct some twisted form of business. Last time we boarded a speedboat at dawn, reached the city, and I glimpsed Alexander in passing, a sight that nearly wrecked me, but I couldn't do anything. My head pounds just remembering. So he's taking me again, but now it's deep night. Where are we going at such an hour? I cross to the wardrobe, yanking the door open. Sure enough, inside is a sleek black cocktail dress, cut low in the back, tastefully short. Beside it hangs strappy heels that glint in the faint lamplight. A wave of revulsion hits me. He loves playing dress-up with me, molding me into some decorative showpiece for his secret dealings. But refusing to wear it will bring consequences. With trembling fingers, I remove the dress from its hanger, letting out a shaky breath. Get it over with. The mirror in the corner reveals me as I slip out of the nightgown. Shadowy bruises still linger on my wrists from a guard's rough grip days ago. A jolt of sorrow stabs me as I recall the day I tried to run for the cove. Didn't make it far. I tug the dress on and zip it up, the silky fabric sliding over my skin like an unwanted caress. My reflection stares back with hollow eyes. If Alexander saw me now, wearing clothes chosen by another man, my captor, would he even recognize me? The question slices deeper than I want to admit. A gentle knock returns, and a second attendant steps inside, holding a small tray of makeup. "He wants you to look your best," she explains in a hushed tone. I can't find it in me to muster anger at these staffers. They're as trapped as I am. Instead, I let her brush concealer under my eyes, add a soft gloss to my lips, some shimmer on my eyelids. Number acceptance pulses through me. The final flourish is a pair of diamond earrings that catch the overhead light. Lucius's taste is impeccable, cruelly so. "Done," she murmurs, stepping back. I swallow hard. "Thank you," I say, even though it feels ridiculous. She nods, slipping out again. My reflection is a stranger, polished, sultry, perfect for some high society gala, yet the hollowness in my eyes remains. Moments later, the door opens again. This time it's a guard with a gun slung over his shoulder. He gestures, unsmiling. "Follow." He leads me through the villa's corridors, lavishly lit by low lamps. Outside, the night sky is a deep indigo, stars scattered overhead. The hum of insects thrums in the foliage, mixing with the hush of surf. We pass palm trees and thick blooms that glisten silver under the moon. At a far clearing, I spot a small private airstrip. My heart lurches at the silhouette of a sleek twin-engine plane. "So, we're flying out in the dark?" Lucius stands near the plane's stairway, conversing with a man in a pilot's uniform. He notices me approach, casting a critical eye over my attire. A glimmer of satisfaction lights his gaze, though he offers no compliment. "On time again," he says softly. "I do appreciate your cooperation." I say nothing. He lifts an eyebrow at my silence, then with a bored flick of his wrist, he gestures me aboard. The interior is plush, leather seats, tinted windows, a small bar at the front. The second I sink into a seat, two guards take positions behind me, as if even in a pressurized cabin I might attempt some grand escape. With a muted roar, the engines throttle up, and we roll down the short runway, lifting into the night sky. Time crawls. I watch the island's lights recede, swallowed by inky darkness. The plane ride can't be short, some hours likely. My head swims with anxious thoughts. Is this a bigger city across the sea? A different country entirely? Lucius has wealth enough to orchestrate anything. Every so often he glances my way, as though checking I haven't spontaneously combusted. Eventually I drift into a fitful doze, only snapping awake when the plane jolts with turbulence. We must be close to landing. Sure enough, within minutes, the wheels touch tarmac with a thud, and we taxi to a private hangar. Outside the window, city lights sprawl in the distance, a glittering mosaic against the black sky. My stomach twists, half hope, half dread. Another city, another set of watchers. Lucius leads me into yet another sleek SUV, the nighttime air pressing warm and humid. The local time must be near midnight. The roads are mostly empty, street lamps casting pale halos across deserted avenues. We drive for a while, neon signs flickering to life in the distance. Then, abruptly, we veer onto a side street lined with upscale restaurants and exclusive clubs. Even at this hour, the vibe is electric. Well-dressed patrons slip past velvet ropes, music pulses from behind ornate doors. We halt at a glimmering black structure, Haven Noir, spelled out in gold across tinted glass. Two men in suits guard the entrance, moving aside with bowed heads as Lucius steps out. I follow gingerly, my heels clicking on the pavement. A club? My pulse skitters. Of all places he might drag me at this time of night. Why here? Inside, the music hits me, a steady bass-driven throb that seeps into bones. The lighting is low, tinted with crimson and violet. Chandeliers sparkle overhead and a plush carpet muffles footsteps. The clientele exudes wealth, shimmering gowns and tailored suits, a swirl of laughter and hushed conversation. Lucius keeps a tight hand at my lower back, guiding me past the main lounge to a roped-off area. It's humiliating, like parading a trophy. I catch glimpses of curious stares, men and women both eyeing me. The guards behind us remain vigilant, hands near their concealed weapons. My heart thrums with every step. A hostess in a sleek black dress greets us quietly. "Mr. Lucius, your VIP booth is ready." Her eyes flick to me, a fleeting sympathy or curiosity glimmering before she leads us upstairs. The second level overlooks the central dance floor below, swirling with bodies moving to the DJ's pulsing beat. My ears ring from the music's volume. We enter a private booth partitioned by sheer curtains. Soft seats circle a low table. A subdued neon glow highlights the bar area beyond. Two of Lucius's men stay at the entrance, effectively blocking me from anyone else. The hostess sets a chilled bottle of some top-shelf liquor before us, plus a pair of crystal glasses. My skin prickles, fear mixing with the decadent environment. Lucius lowers himself into the seat, patting the spot beside him. When I don't immediately comply, his gaze darkens. I force myself to sit, leaving the smallest gap I can manage. He arches an eyebrow but says nothing, pouring liquor into each glass. The beat below thrums in my ribcage. He picks up his glass, eyes skimming the crowd. "Now we wait," he murmurs. "For what?" My question goes unspoken. In times like these, he rarely volunteers answers. Instead, I train my gaze on the dance floor, searching for any sign of recognition or possible rescue. The dancers are a kaleidoscope of shifting shadows, no one paying mind to an isolated VIP booth upstairs. Time slides by in a haze of tension. People come and go from the main floor and my nerves coil tighter. Then something changes. Lucius's phone buzzes. He checks it, lips curling faintly. "They're here," he says to me. "Enjoy the show." "They?" I watch him gesture to one of his guards. The guard steps aside, letting a new figure into the booth. My eyes adjust. A short, stocky man in a suit. Lucius addresses him briefly in hushed tones. I catch scraps of their conversation over the pounding music. Did he arrive with her? The Vantage is across the way. 8 minutes ago, possibly at the other lounge. Lounge? Another swirl of confusion hits me. The stocky man scurries out, leaving us alone except for guards. A pang of dread grips me. Lucius is staging another Vantage scenario, just like last time. My stomach twists. He glances at me. "Up on your feet." "What are you?" He grips my wrist, dragging me to a darkened window at the booth's edge. Through tinted glass, I see across the street another building with neon-laced architecture, tall windows on the upper level revealing a private bar area. My chest tightens. This is the Vantage. There, half obscured by moody lighting, stands Alexander leaning against the bar rail with a crystal tumbler in his hand. My heart flips at the sight of him. He's in a charcoal suit, shoulders tense, expression unreadable, and next to him is a woman, tall, raven-haired, wearing a form-hugging black gown. She touches Alexander's elbow as she speaks, leaning in intimately. Another wave of heartbreak hits me like a physical blow. "It looks like they're enjoying themselves," Lucius murmurs, lips near my ear. The club's music throbs, but his voice cuts through, cold and mocking. "Notice how he's letting her stand so close. He doesn't look troubled, does he?" A lump lodges in my throat. Maybe it's just business," my voice trembles. "I know him. He wouldn't..." Lucius's grip on my wrist tightens, pulling me closer to the glass. Look at how her hand drifts across his shoulder. People don't do that for purely professional reasons, do they? Maybe he's found a new partner, one with the resources he needs. Tears burn my eyes. Could it be he found a new lover so soon? The possibility crushes me, yet I cling to the thought that he might be forced. You don't know anything, I manage, voice trembling. He chuckles softly. I know enough. Men adapt quickly. If you're out of reach, he's not going to waste time pining. That's what it is to live in our world. Alexander raises his glass, the woman leaning in to clink hers against it. Their lips move in conversation, the neon glow accentuating the curve of her smile. She looks confident, regal even. Alexander's posture is stiff, but not enough to imply distress. My nails bite into my palms, the betrayal or possibility of it stinging like salt in an open wound. Lucius sets his chin on my shoulder, making me tense. I take it this is quite a blow to your heart, but better to face reality. I want to lash out, to shout that Alexander must be coerced, but Lucius's breath on my neck paralyzes me with revulsion. Get away, I hiss, voice strangled. He smirks, stepping back. As you wish. He pours a second glass of liquor, thrusting it into my hand. Drink. Unless you'd rather watch them toast each other while you stand sober and miserable. I glare, refusing to raise the glass. The music from below rattles my bones. A flicker of movement outside draws my eyes. The woman pressing closer to Alexander. A swirl of jealousy, heartbreak, confusion churns inside me. The glass in my hand trembles. Lucius sees the anguish etched on my face. Go on, he urges. Hide behind your drink. It won't fix anything, but it might dull the pain. At that moment, one of Lucius's men, a lean, wiry colleague, slips into the booth. He reeks of cologne and cheap whiskey, eyes roving over me with brazen curiosity. Boss, is this the famous captive? He purrs, stepping uncomfortably close. I recoil, but he lifts a hand as if to stroke my shoulder. She's a pretty little bird, mind if I... Adrenaline spikes. I lash out with the glass in my grip, aiming to clobber him with it, but he blocks my wrist. His reeking breath fans my face. Panic seizes me. At last second, I pivot, smashing the heavy base of the glass across his temple. Liquid splatters. He staggers, cursing. A heartbeat passes, the neon lighting flickering over the scene. Then Lucius's expression flares with something savage. He whips out a pistol from his waist. The colleague's eyes widen, and before he can react, Lucius squeezes the trigger. A muffled gunshot, silenced by the booth's thick soundproofing, rings in my ears. The colleague collapses with a groan, clutching his leg, blood seeping between his fingers. He shrieks, voice drowned out by the thunderous club music outside. My mind reels. Another wave of fear and confusion. Lucius kneels, pressing a hand to the wound, voice cold. Touch what's mine again. I'll put a bullet in your head next time. The man thrashes, tears running down his face as he begs for mercy. I can't stand the sight of blood, yet nurse instincts kick in. I drop to my knees, ignoring the flash of alarm from Lucius's guards. He'll bleed out if we don't. Lucius flicks me a derisive glance but nods. Fine, help him if you must. With shaking hands, I press down on the bullet wound, forming an improvised tourniquet from the tablecloth. The man moans, cursing me, cursing Lucius. The tension in my body is unbearable. Shock, guilt, relief that it's not me on the floor. A minute later, more men burst in. Lucius orders them to drag the victim away to the dock. They comply, leaving a slick of blood on the VIP booth's plush carpeting. The hush that descends is suffocating. I kneel, breath ragged, hands stained red. Lucius stands over me, gun still in hand, an air of eerie satisfaction about him. My entire being trembles. Did he do this for me or just to show off? He extends a hand as if to help me to my feet. I jerk away, scrambling upright on my own. My heart slams against my ribs. You're insane, I breathe, voice quavering. He slides the gun back under his suit jacket, brushing imaginary lint from his sleeve. Perhaps, but you see now, if anyone else tries to claim you or harm you, I'll respond the same way. I protect what's mine. I stare in horror, still reeling. The thick smell of blood lingers, drowned by the swirling perfume of the club's air fresheners. I'm not yours, I rasp. I never will be. I'm your captive. Have you lost your mind? Lucius's eyes gleam. We'll see about that. Your gall excites me. He steps nearer, wiping a smear of blood from my wrist with a pristine handkerchief. Maybe you'd prefer if I punished you for that outburst? Or do you like that I shot him, not you? Hatred mingles with a flicker of twisted relief. He did this to protect me from the man's lecherous grip, but his brand of protection is grotesque. My stomach churns as I choke. Let's just go, I force out. I can't stand being here any longer. A thin smile curves his mouth. Don't you want to escape? But as you wish. He casts a glance at the tinted window again. Alexander and the woman are gone, presumably leaving. My throat tightens at the memory. Another chunk of my hope erodes. Did Alexander see the flash of violence here? Probably not. He's busy, entangled with some new alliance. Lucius motions to a guard. We're done, take her back. The guard nods. Two of them hover, ready to escort me out. Lucius lowers his voice, stepping close enough that I can smell the faint, powdery scent of gun residue. Consider this night a lesson, Lori. Your defiance is tantalizing, but it's a blade you wield at your own peril. Next time you push me, I might not aim for the leg. I swallow thickly, drawing my chin up. I'm not afraid of you, I lie, even though my stomach is hollow with terror. He chuckles, brushing the hair off my cheek. Liar, but that's all right. Keep lying to yourself if it helps you sleep. Without another word, he turns on his heel. The guards steer me away from the VIP booth, away from the blood-soaked carpet. Outside, the music pounds relentlessly, oblivious to the bullet fired just a few feet away. People dance, laugh, sip expensive cocktails, none the wiser. We exit down a back stairwell, slipping into the black SUV that roars away into the neon-lit streets. My heart hammers in my throat the entire drive, replaying the moment I locked eyes with Alexander from afar, and the moment Lucius pulled that trigger. We reach the private airstrip on the city's outskirts. By now it's nearing dawn. The sky overhead palely suggests sunrise, the horizon turning faintly gray. Dull exhaustion weighs on me. The plane sits waiting, engines humming. A short time later, we're airborne once again, leaving the city behind. My gaze remains glued to the window, watching lights fade below. Another lost chance at freedom. The flight is silent. Lucius reclines with closed eyes, almost as if he's dozing. I remain stiff, remembering the man's screams, my own trembling hands pressing down on the bullet wound, and the overhead swirl of heartbreak from witnessing Alexander with that woman. My eyes burn, but tears remain locked behind pride. I won't give Lucius the satisfaction of seeing me cry. Eventually, the plane descends to the island's airstrip. The first rays of morning light greet us as we disembark, the oppressive humidity wrapping around me again like a sticky net. The guards escort me back to the main villa, moving through corridors I know too well. My dress is ruined, splattered with blood and the reek of spilt liquor. I ache to tear it off and cleanse my skin of the night's horrors. At the villa's foyer, Lucius halts me with a light grasp on my arm. The dawn glow slides across the marble floor, illuminating his features. He regards me with an unreadable expression. Our excursion was educational, I hope. I keep my voice tight. I learned you're even more twisted than I imagined. His lips lift in a wry half-smile. Flatterer, now go clean up. I'll send fresh clothes. Sleep if you wish, but don't get too comfortable. We'll talk soon. A guard at my back nudges me gently toward the hallway. My feet feel leaden. I glance back once, meeting Lucius's gaze. The reminder of Alexander's face in that bar hovers in my mind. How heartbreak flickered inside me with each second I watched him stand close to that mysterious woman. I hope deep down it's a ruse, but the possibility that he's truly moving on scalds me. The guard's nudge pushes me forward, so I let out a quivering breath and hurry to my suite. Once the door shuts behind me, I slump against it, arms trembling. A swirl of images bombards me, the colleague's blood-staining plush carpeting, Alexander's distant form in that lounge across the street, the savage delight in Lucius's eyes. Overwhelming exhaustion sinks in. The sky outside is fully bright now, but everything feels soaked in night's dread. I discard the ruined dress, stepping into a steaming shower to scrub away the grime, the tang of gun smoke, the stench of cheap whiskey. No matter how hard I wash, the memory clings. My reflection in the fogged mirror reveals wide eyes and a lost expression. One day, I whisper, echoing the vow I keep repeating, I'll be free. Later, I emerge wrapped in a soft robe. On the bed, as promised, a new dress awaits. This one a simple daytime shift. I ignore it for the moment, sliding into a plain t-shirt and lounge pants from the closet's neglected corner. If Lucius demands another show, he can force me. Right now, I need the illusion of comfort. I collapse onto the bed, the tension in my shoulders refusing to fade. My mind replays Alexander's unguarded face, how the woman leaned in close. I remind myself he could be under pressure, but the tiny voice of doubt won't die. What if he simply moved on, believing me dead or unreachable? Lucius certainly wants me to think so. My eyes drift shut, the overhead fan spinning slow circles. In that half-dream state, I see the bar's neon glow, watch the bullet tear into a man's leg. My heart spasms with pity and leftover adrenaline. Then I see Alexander's face again, replaced by Lucius's cold smirk. The dream collapses into a swirl of confusion. At some point, exhaustion claims me fully. I drift into uneasy sleep, half-formed nightmares swirling with gunshots, city lights, and a pair of haunting green eyes. Sometime later, minutes or hours, I don't know, I jolt awake, covered in sweat. The suite is quiet, no sign of Lucius or his staff. Good, I can breathe without his oppressive presence. Eventually, I rise and cross to the window. The sun rides high in the sky now, shimmering across the ocean. My reflection is faint against the glass, a figure of sorrow in comfortable clothes that ironically aren't part of Lucius's curated selection. I wonder if he'll punish me for discarding his chosen dress. Probably, but I can't muster the energy to care. Pressing my palm to the glass, I gaze at the pristine beach, the orchard of palms swaying. It's the same mocking paradise as always, the echo of the night's events, seeing Alexander so close yet so far. The savage brutality Lucius inflicted lingers in every breath. One day, I remind myself, one day I'll get off this island for good. For now, I exist in the tension between heartbreak and defiance. Each day, Lucius's interest in me grows. Each day, his cruelty reveals new depths. But I refuse to cower. If he thinks tormenting me with glimpses of Alexander will break my spirit, he's wrong. I'll harness the ache, turn it into resolve, because the alternative, accepting captivity, is unthinkable. My eyes close, a shaky exhale escaping. The memory of Alexander's parted lips, that glass in his hand, and the woman's gentle touch on his arm still gnaws at me. I cling to the possibility that it's all a facade. Even if it isn't, I can't let Lucius own me. I straighten my spine, letting the sun's heat press against the window, warming my forehead. I will endure, I vow again, the same mantra that's carried me through each indignity. No matter how many miles separate me from true freedom, no matter how many twisted nights Lucius arranges, I won't surrender my will. I tighten my hand into a fist against the glass, the faint reflection of determination flickering across my face. The next day might bring more horror, but also one more chance to fight.
I thought I was getting a fake marriage, but I didn't know my story was being told by Miss Tyler.
This isn't just any fake marriage now, is it?
No. You introduced me to the devil.
Come on, girl. Jacob isn't that bad.
Oh, I love Jacob. His family, on the other hand,
beggars can't be choosers, Nyla. You should be grateful I even let Jacob Stone look your way.
I just wanted to save my granddaddy. Is that so bad? Why couldn't you let this be a normal fake marriage? Instead, you put me in a twisty story filled with money, betrayal, power, and lies.
Let's not forget love.
That's what keeps me going. But not gonna lie, Miss Tyler. This story you got me in ain't the simple fake marriage happy ending I thought it would be.
It's not. Where would be the fun in that?
Treat yourself to Say Less, I Love You. New releases every Thursday, now with longer episodes. Or skip the wait and grab the full series bundle from TylerWalker.com for up to 85% off. Treat yourself with Miss Tyler. Chapter 355, Nyla. The elevator doors slide open onto the bustling corridor of Stone Hospital's maternity wing, and I step out, gently pressing a hand to my rounded belly. 7 months along, and I can feel every shift and flutter the baby makes. Tiny flurries of motion that remind me life is growing in me, even as the world around me feels so precarious. Jacob follows at my side, his arm resting protectively at my lower back, guiding me through the swirl of nurses, patients, and the occasional lost visitor. It's been a week of extremes, frantic calls with investigators about Lori's disappearance, and Trixa's inexplicable vanishing, balanced against the flicker of joy from the baby's steady heartbeat during each checkup. The contrast knots my stomach with guilt. How can I celebrate my baby's progress when 2 dear friends remain lost? But each day, Jacob encourages me that we can handle both, fight to save them, and still cherish this impending new life. A cheerful nurse at the reception desk lights up when she sees us. "Mrs. Stone, there you are, right on time for your ultrasound." She glances at my chart, passing it along to a colleague. "Dr. Madison will see you in 5 minutes. My breath hitches. Another ultrasound means another glimpse of my baby. Another wave of emotions I can't always contain. Jacob squeezes my hand gently. "Ready?" he asks, voice warm despite the tension etched into his brow. I force a small smile. As I'll ever be. In truth, I'm anxious. The day started with no new updates about Trixa or Lori. Derek briefly woke from his coma 2 nights ago, eyes fluttering open for a few precious minutes, but he drifted back into a deep sleep. The doctors remain hopeful. Hope is an unsteady companion for me lately, but I cling to it. The nurse leads us into a dimly lit exam room. I settle on the exam table, shifting my belly to a comfortable position. The air smells faintly of disinfectant and lavender air freshener. Jacob hovers near the monitor, arms folded protectively. After a moment, Dr. Madison, a kind-faced woman with curly hair, steps in, greeting us with a smile that crinkles her eyes. "All right, Nyla, let's take a look at this little one," she says, snapping gloves onto her hands. She squirts warm gel onto my stomach and spreads it around with the ultrasound probe. The machine hums, and soon a blurry image flickers onto the screen. My heart leaps. There it is, the baby's tiny profile, the curve of a foot. Dr. Madison narrates in hushed, reassuring tones. "Looks like the baby's measuring well. Strong heartbeat. See here?" She points to a flutter on the monitor. Jacob leans closer, eyes shining with awe. A small giggle escapes my lips as the baby wiggles. "That movement," I say softly, blinking back tears. "I can feel it so strongly now." Jacob brushes a hand over my hair. "It's incredible." His voice falters, and for a moment, the heaviness of the past weeks vanishes, replaced by wonder. We share a long look, breathing in this reminder that in the midst of all the chaos, we're building a future. Dr. Madison finishes, wiping away the gel. "Everything's looking good. Keep up your rest. Try to minimize stress." Her gaze flicks between us, carefully avoiding mention of any drama. "Any questions?" I swallow, mind swirling with 1,000 unbaby-related concerns. But I only shake my head. "No, thank you. I want to bury her in questions about how to ignore the dread of missing friends, of monstrous father figures, running rampant or vanishing. But that's not her domain. We leave soon after, thanking the staff. In the hallway, a wave of relief and guilt wore inside me. The baby's healthy, and that's a miracle. Yet my stomach knots at the thought of Lori out there, possibly terrified, and Trixa, rumored to be thrown into some bogus mental institution, but nowhere on record. Jacob notices my frown as we step into the elevator. "Ultrasound went well. You okay?" I lean my head against his shoulder, letting the elevator doors close. "I just wish I could share the good news with Lori," I admit, voice trembling. "And Trixa. I keep imagining how they'd squeal over the ultrasound pictures, or tease me about baby names. Trixa and I aren't close, but I think she'll like to see the baby. She'll be a great aunt." He rubs comforting circles on my back. "We'll find them. Derek's short awakening means he's improving. Maybe he'll help us with Trixa once he can talk. We have to believe they're all still within reach." His confidence wavers for a moment in his eyes, but he holds it firm for my sake. I swallow the lump in my throat. I know, I just can't help feeling guilty that I get to see my baby grow while they're suffering. Jacob steers me out of the elevator on the ground floor. We pass the hospital lobby, bustling with visitors and staff. "Let's do something positive today," he suggests quietly. "Something to embrace the baby's arrival, even if it's just picking out a new crib or baby supplies. Humor me?" A hint of a laugh bubbles up before I can stop it. "I guess we do need an infant car seat. We've been procrastinating on that." He flashes a smile, relief mingled with determination. "Deal. Let's head to that baby superstore downtown. We can talk to the staff about the best gear." We drive in relative silence. The tension in the car tinted with an odd mixture of sorrow and excitement. Arriving at the store, a sprawling wonderland of pastel colors, strollers, and stuffed animals, feels surreal. A bright jingle greets us as the automatic doors open. Inside, expectant mothers and wide-eyed fathers browse row upon row of onesies and miniature shoes. Jacob fetches a cart, turning to me with a sheepish grin. I have no clue what half this stuff is. Look at these baby carriers. There must be 50 types. My lips twitch with a genuine smile. You're telling me? Let's figure it out. We wander into an aisle lined with strollers, each one claiming advanced shock absorption or one-handed folding. A friendly store associate bounces over, eyes gleaming with delight at the potential customers. Welcome! Looking for a stroller? A crib? We have them all. How far along are you? She asks brightly. 7 months, I say, forcing a polite tone. The woman radiates an innocent cheer that almost feels jarring against my internal turmoil. Jacob points to a sleek black stroller with fancy wheels. That looks sturdy, but is it overkill? The associate launches into a detailed explanation of handlebar angles, wheel locks, convertible infant seats. My head spins. At one point, she demonstrates folding it with a single swift motion, the metal framework collapsing with a satisfying click. Jacob tries it, fumbling at first, then beams as he succeeds. It's a silly moment, but the comedic relief helps. We share a helpless laugh. We pick out a matching car seat, testing it in the display model. I attempt to buckle the harness with my belly in the way, ending up half laughing, half straining. Jacob stands behind me, guiding my hands. You got it, he murmurs, grin lighting his face. A flicker of ease drifts over me, overshadowing the worry for a moment. Maybe it's the bizarre normalcy of shopping for baby gear, or the fact that Jacob, despite all the stress, is determined to see me smile. I lean back into him, heart warming. We move to the crib section next. The store is a labyrinth of pastel bedding sets, little animals, lullaby prints, starry motifs. I pause in front of one with embroidered elephants. Elephants were always Laurie's favorite creatures, ironically enough. My chest tightens. Jacob notices my tension. He rests a hand on my shoulder. Hey, he says softly. We'll get her back, and Laurie too. Blinking rapidly, I muster a nod. I wish she were here to help me pick. Laurie always had strong opinions. She'd probably say these elephants are too cutesy. He squeezes me gently. Exactly. Then she'd drag us to 3 more shops to compare prices. A watery laugh escapes my lips. The associate from before glances at us sympathetically, but lets us be. We settle on a neutral crib, sturdy oak, with an adjustable mattress. It feels weird placing such a normal order in the midst of so much chaos, but also grounding. We continue through the store, occasionally bumping into other expectant couples. One father tries on a baby carrier, the mother, laughing at how silly he looks with a plush doll strapped to his chest. Jacob and I exchange a grin, normalcy. A wave of longing hits me. If only Laurie was safe, Trixa free, we could enjoy these final months with no overshadowing gloom. At checkout, the associate rings us up, congratulating us with starry eyes. Jacob declines the offer of shipping. We'll have them deliver next week. We chat about what color we might paint the nursery, making comedic banter that feels both forced and relieving. As we leave, plastic bag of small baby items in hand, I realize a trace of tension has lifted from my spine. This small step toward the future might be the positivity I needed. We arrive back at our place, our penthouse with large windows that let in the midday sun. Dropping the shopping bags near the living room couch, I exhale. That was exhausting. Jacob sets the car seat box down gently. We survived. Good practice for real parenthood. A ghost of a grin touches my lips. Still can't believe we're going to be parents soon. 7 months flew by, and yet it's been the longest year of my life. He nods, crossing the living room to pour us each a glass of chilled juice. Sometimes I look at you and think, she's glowing. Other times I remember everything we've been through. The sabotage, Trixa's disappearance, Lori's kidnapping. It's a roller coaster. I sink onto the sofa, hand on my belly, feeling a nudge from within. The baby's movements calm me somewhat. Derek woke up for a few minutes. I murmur, voice tinged with cautious hope. I saw him blink, whisper something about Trixa. Then he dozed off again. But it's improvement, right? Maybe he'll have a clue about Trixa, or he just wants to see her. Jacob hands me the juice, eyes warm with encouragement. He will, and we'll be right there with him, pressing for details. Once Trixa's whereabouts surface, we can mount a rescue, one step at a time. I sip the juice, recalling how I found no official record of Trixa in any mental institution. The frustration still simmers. It's like she was erased, Jacob. Marcus orchestrated it, and now Marcus himself is missing, kidnapped by unknown players. He sets his glass down, expression tight. I keep hearing rumors. Some say he was shipped overseas. Others claim he's in some warlord's grip. I'm looking for confirmation for the rumors. If he resurfaces, we have to be prepared. He's the root of so much pain. Silence hovers, heavy with the possibility that Marcus might come back in some monstrous shape. I shift, swallowing. Let's not let him overshadow our day. We deserve a little calm, at least for the baby's sake. Jacob nods, forcing a grin. Agreed. Actually, he glances at the clock. I had a silly idea. We could do a mini baby celebration. You know, a small dinner for just the two of us tonight. Celebrate the crib purchase. He shrugs sheepishly, coloring a bit. Might be fun. I'm no chef, but I can try something from a recipe. Or we can do a simple takeout and pretend it's homemade. Laughter bubbles from me. I'd love that. Let's go comedic. Show me your cooking skills, Stone. He arches an eyebrow in mock challenge. You asked for it. If I burn the place down, blame your curiosity. The smell of garlic and onions wafts through the kitchen. Jacob stands at the stove, stirring a pot with intense focus. I hover near the counter, munching on crackers to quell my unpredictable pregnancy hunger. The radio plays soft background music, an upbeat tune that contrasts with his comedic attempts at measuring spices. Ouch! He yelps, dropping a sprinkle of chili flakes. That's more than I intended. I stifle a giggle, stepping up to rescue him. Here, let me see. Too spicy might trigger my heartburn, babe. He grimaces, shaking the flakes off his hand. Yes, sorry. I forgot about that. I'll add extra coconut milk. We improvise the dish, tasting as we go. A comedic atmosphere builds, and I find myself laughing more than I have in weeks. He tries flipping vegetables in the pan, only to fling a carrot across the kitchen. I snort, pointing out it landed near the fridge. Eventually, we manage a passable curry. It's not a gourmet feast, but the sense of normalcy, of working together in our cozy kitchen, joking over mismeasured spices, is priceless. We set the table with a flickering candle in the center, half for romance, half for comedic effect. Jacob pulls out my chair. My lady, he says in an exaggerated gallant tone. I plop down, belly preceding me. Thank you, good sir. We exchange a grin. For a moment, the gloom of missing friends and conspiracies recedes. We clink glasses of sparkling juice, his eyes dancing with affection. To a healthy baby, he says quietly. and to finding Lori and Trixa soon. My heart twists, emotions swelling. Yes, I whisper, blinking away tears. To them, and Derek, and everyone else waiting for a break. We dig into the curry, giggling whenever we taste a particularly fiery spoonful. The comedic moments tumble into the conversation, like how the stroller collapsed on Jacob's foot earlier at the baby store, or how a random father asked him for diaper advice he couldn't possibly give. It feels good, so good, to laugh without apology. Later, we curl on the living room sofa, the leftover plates in the sink. He places a gentle hand on my belly, feeling a shift from our little one. Must be the spicy curry, he jokes, eyes glowing with tenderness. My cheeks warm, and I snuggle closer, inhaling his familiar scent. A hush falls over us, broken only by the soft hum of the air conditioner. My mind drifts, heavy-lidded with contentment. For once, I almost forget the heartbreak swirling outside these walls. Then his phone buzzes on the coffee table. We both tense, an unspoken dread creeping in. Carefully, he leans forward to check the caller ID. It's one of the leads about Marcus, he murmurs, gaze flicking to me. My stomach clenches. He answers, pressing the phone to his ear. Jacob Stone here. Yes? Wait. Slow down. He stands, pacing a few steps from the couch. I can't hear the other end, but the tension in his posture is unmistakable. What do you mean across the border? Which border? Shipped overseas? Are you sure? He runs a hand through his hair, eyes darting anxiously toward me. If he's been taken, who in the world has that kind of power? I grip the edge of the couch, feeling my breath quicken. This can't be good news. A swirl of confusion grips me. If Marcus is truly in someone else's custody, does that mean we're safe from his threats, or is it a new, bigger threat? I've been waiting for this confirmation, dreading it this whole time. Jacob finishes the call, setting the phone down heavily. They claim he was smuggled out in a cargo plane, possibly to East Asia or somewhere in that region. No confirmation who orchestrated it, just rumors. The same group that kidnapped him from the cops is apparently well-funded, unstoppable. A wave of mixed relief and unease hits me. So he's gone from here? That might mean he's not an immediate danger to us, but also, if they're that powerful, what else are they planning? He sinks beside me, shoulders taut. Exactly. It's not comforting. If a group strong enough to kidnap Marcus is out there, we might be dealing with an even bigger storm, and we have no clue how it ties into Lori's disappearance or Trixa's situation. My hand reflexively covers my belly. Our baby stirs, as if sensing the tension. This new puzzle piece only makes everything murkier. We have to be ready for anything. Jacob exhales slowly, capturing my free hand in his. We'll keep pushing leads. For now, let's not let it rob us of tonight's peace. His voice wavers with forced calm. I swallow, leaning into him. The baby's healthy. We found moments of laughter today. Derek is improving, but the specter of Trixa, Lori, and this unstoppable faction gnaws at us. My heart throbs at the knowledge that no single day can be purely joyful until everyone is safe. We sit together, entwined, the lamplight casting our silhouettes on the wall. In the hush of late evening, we cling to each other, uncertain how the next twist will unfold. But for now, we have each other's warmth, the promise of a child's heartbeat under my skin, and the fragile hope that even amidst kidnappings and conspiracies, a better tomorrow can be built. In the flicker of that hope, I rest my head on Jacob's shoulder, letting my eyes drift shut, lulled by the steady rise and fall of his breathing. The phone remains silent for now, but we both know it won't stay that way for long. Darkness roils in the outside world, swirling secrets about Marcus's new captors. Yet, in this small living room, We hold on to the life inside me as the anchor that keeps our hearts from sinking. End of chapter 354.
Chapter 3, 156. Jacob. Sunlight streams through the large glass-paneled wall overlooking the stone hospital courtyard. I stand at the head of a polished conference table, tension radiating off me and every other person gathered. The board members, those who haven't resigned or fled from the swirling controversies, occupy half the seats, while a handful of ex-FBI and security specialists take the rest. Their serious faces reflect the high stakes. 2 dear friends missing, a swirl of conspiracies, and an empire teetering. At my side, Nyla quietly sifts through a stack of notes, her rounded belly apparent even under her loose blouse. She's 7 months pregnant, but determined not to let that slow her down. I glance at her gently, the protective side of me wanting her to rest. Yet I know she'd never forgive me if I tried to sideline her. We both need to see this through. A hush settles as I address the group. Thank you all for coming. The board demanded we fill them in, and we want your help. 2 pressing matters: the vanishings of Lori and Trixa, and the ongoing threat to Stone Hospital's stability. One of the board members, Miss Townsend, raises her hand. We appreciate the update, Mr. Stone, but the hospital can't endure more negative press. We're already hemorrhaging donors. Her sharp gaze suggests frustration. The staff craves leadership, yet you've been preoccupied with personal hunts. I bristle at her tone, but keep my voice calm. These hunts are crucial. Lori was an essential staff member. Her disappearance affects morale. Trixa's case is intertwined with sabotage that threatened our expansions and the death of my parents. Resolving these crises helps the hospital more than you know. Nyla lifts her chin, speaking before Townsend can retort. We're not ignoring hospital duties, I promise. But ignoring these disappearances would be a bigger disaster in the long run. Townsend purses her lips, grudgingly nodding. I turn to the ex-FBI agent, a grizzled man named Clark. His presence is an anchor of experience. Clark, share your findings. He clears his throat, flipping open a folder. We've pulled every string we can. Our team scoured official mental health facility records, nothing for Trixa. We even probed into rumored illegal or hidden clinics. Same result. A ghost. She's not in any conventional or under-the-table institution we can uncover. At least not under her name or any known alias. A flicker of dismay passes across Nyla's features. She leans forward. So what does that mean? Marcus planted all those illusions of a mental breakdown, only to hide her elsewhere? Clark nods. Likely. We found an abandoned facility once rumored to hold problematic heirs for hush treatments, but it's been deserted months. We suspect Trixa was briefly placed there, but the trail's cold. The real bombshell is a tip about a 911 call from someone claiming to be Trixa Swan. The operator dismissed it as a hoax because the caller couldn't give a location. But it lines up with your timeline. A hush envelops the table. My stomach clenches. So Trixa tried to call for help? Seems so. Clark confirms. She said she was in a labor camp, some forced labor operation. The operator requested her exact address, which Trixa couldn't provide. Moments later, the call ended abruptly. We're digging deeper, trying to trace the phone, but it's complicated. Next to no location data. All we gleaned was that it pinged somewhere in the southwestern region, near farmland. Nyla's face clouds. A labor camp? She rubs her temples. We can't just let that stand. We must push local sheriffs or investigators in southwestern farmland to check suspicious properties. They could have her working in the fields, for heaven's sake. An ex-FBI woman next to Clark, Agent Ruley, flips to another page. We'll expand searches to more remote farmland. But we need more resources or local law enforcement cooperation. Some areas are near lawless. Gangs or corrupted officials might hamper us. Miss Townsend frowns, scrawling notes. This is beyond Stone Hospital's normal scope. But if you believe retrieving Miss Swan helps us stave off the media, we'll authorize limited funds. She glances pointedly at me. Just keep it discreet. Nyla's shoulders stiffen. Discreet or not, Trixa is one of our own. If the board underestimates that, we'll find funding elsewhere. Townsend blinks at the vehemence in Nyla's tone, backing down. The tension in the room rises. I exhale, deciding to pivot to the next topic. And about Laurie? Any new leads? Clark flips another folder. Some rumor says an unknown faction with ties to the underworld took her. Possibly connected to an enemy of Alexander Sokolov, Miss Laurie's friend, someone big enough to want leverage. But that rumor is unconfirmed. We do have a scrap of info about potential sightings in a foreign city, but it's unsubstantiated. We'll keep pushing. Nyla nods, a flicker of hope in her eyes. Please do. We'll help in any way possible. Mr. Rollins, another board member, raises a hand. All well and good, but Stone Hospital can't remain in limbo. We've endured too many disruptions. Mr. Stone, the staff needs you to step into leadership. Officially. Publicly. The people trust your presence. Lack of it causes instability. Now that Miss Nyla's name has been cleared, the people's morale are skyrocketing. I exchange a glance with Nyla. She breathes out, collecting her thoughts. We'll handle more direct oversight, but I'm not going to let these crises slip away. My friends' lives matter. He nods, though it's clear his priority is the hospital's image. Townsend steps in. A press statement or event would help. Something that shows Stone Hospital stands strong under your guidance. I grit my teeth. We'll coordinate, but let's not get lost in PR stunts. We must solve these vanishings. I pivot to Clark again. Anything else we can do immediately? He snaps the folder shut. Keep your eyes open for any farmland expansions, suspicious trucks hauling unregistered cargo, anything that might hint at a secret labor camp. My team will do ground checks with local law enforcement, but it'll take time. Nyla rubs her belly absently. Time's something Trixa doesn't have. She's in trouble. If that 911 call was real, she might face punishment for it. We must move faster. Agent Rowley's expression softens. We'll do our best, Miss Nyla. But I can't promise miracles overnight. Silence hangs. The meeting concludes with a flurry of handshakes and subdued nods. The board disperses, some wearing grim resolution, others frustration. Clark and Rowley linger to finalize action steps, then they too leave. Nyla and I remain behind, letting the tension drain from our shoulders. She slumps into a chair, exhaling hard. I can't stand sitting on partial leads. I want to tear into those farmland areas myself. I set a hand on her shoulder. I know, but we have to let the professionals handle the ground search. You need rest. Our baby's health depends on it. A flicker of annoyance crosses her face, but she softens. You're right. I just hate feeling helpless. I help her stand. We're not helpless. We're fueling them with resources, networks, everything. Clark's no amateur. He'll keep us updated. She sighs, hugging me briefly. Thanks, Jacob. Let's get out of this stuffy boardroom. After a barrage of paperwork and press updates, Nyla and I retreat to my office. She perches on the edge of the desk, scanning an emailed file from the investigators, her brow furrowed. They have a partial list of farmland owners with shady backgrounds. We can pass it to Clark. She sets down the phone, rubbing her eyes. I'm exhausted, but we can't just drop it. I push aside a stack of hospital policy documents. Let's break for a bit. You've been on your feet all day. Let me finalize a quick schedule update. Then how about we head off early? I want to do something nice for you tonight. She cocks her head, curiosity piqued. Nice in what way? A hint of a smile touches my lips. There's a new beachside venue, quiet and scenic. I'd like to treat you to a dinner date. No talk of kidnappings or sabotage, just us and the baby. A moment to breathe. Her eyes gleam with a mix of relief and caution. That actually sounds perfect. Are you sure we can spare the time? I grasp her hand. We must. We can't serve anyone if we're burnt out. Let's do it. She nods, a faint smile growing. All right, I'd love that. The sun dips low as I park the car near a secluded stretch of shoreline. Waves lap gently on golden sand, tinted with the pink and orange glow of twilight. Up ahead, a small pop-up restaurant nestles by the water, soft string lights, a handful of tables spaced out for privacy. My heart warms at the way Nyla's eyes light up, reflecting the vibrant sky. We approach the host, who smiles, guiding us to a candlelit table near the water's edge. The hush of the ocean breeze envelops us, carrying hints of salt and the faint aroma of grilled seafood. Nyla eases into her seat, hand drifting to her belly. I settle across from her, the last rays of sunlight painting her face in warm hues. "This place is lovely," she says softly, scanning the flickering torches planted in the sand. "Glad you approve." I grin. "Order anything you want. Let's forget diets and stress for a night." She laughs, the sound light and free. "Don't tempt me. This baby might devour the entire menu." A waiter in a linen shirt approaches, offering us a set of fresh squeezed fruit mocktails. Perfect for Nyla's pregnancy. We sip them, letting the sweet tang chase away some tension. Waves lap gently, the horizon turning deep orange as the sun kisses it goodbye. I inhale, letting gratitude wash over me. Even in a storm, these pockets of peace exist. We sample an array of dishes grilled prawns for me, a savory vegetable dish for her with extra spice. She jokes about how her cravings shift by the minute. I fetch a spoonful for her to taste, and she does the same for me. Comedic smiles bridging each bite. The ocean's hush and the faint hum of conversation from a few other diners create a cocoon around us. After dinner, Nyla leans back, eyes shining. "I needed this. Thank you." She rests a hand on mine, the weight of her ring glinting in the lantern light. I feel almost guilty enjoying it. I shake my head, brushing a thumb over her knuckles. "Don't. Our baby deserves parents who find hope. That doesn't diminish our commitment to saving Lori and Trixa." She nods, expression softening. "You're right. If we lose ourselves to despair, we risk everything." Before I can respond, a sudden burst of drums echoes down the shore. We glance over to see a small troop of fire dancers setting up near the waterline, torches blazing bright. A jolt of excitement sparks in Nyla's eyes. "They must be performing here tonight. Let's watch." We wander closer, settling on a couple of beach chairs. The dancers begin their routine, swinging flaming batons in hypnotic arcs, the drum beats reverberating in the sand beneath our feet. Embers swirl against the night sky, forming showers of sparks. Nyla gasps, enthralled, and I feel a wave of happiness at seeing her so captivated by something joyous and simple. One dancer leaps forward, spinning 2 blazing orbs on chains, forming intricate spirals around his body. The heat radiates across the dark air, casting wild shadows. Another dancer flips through the flames. The crowd, small and scattered, claps and cheers. We join in, letting the spectacle absorb us. For a brief stretch of minutes, we're just another couple enthralled by artistry, forgetting the horrors swirling beyond this shoreline. When the final flourish ends, the performers bow, torches sputtering out. The audience applauds. Nyla claps hardest, eyes alight. "That was incredible," she whispers, breathless. "I love how they wove the music and fire in perfect sync." I nod, rising from the beach chair, offering my hand. "Come on," I say softly. "There's a hammock over by the palm trees. Let's steal it for a few minutes." She accepts, and we meander along the moonlit sand, feet sinking into cool grains. Indeed, between 2 tall palms sways a large hammock, hidden from the bright lights of the restaurant area. She chuckles, eyeing her belly. "Hope it can handle me." I grin. "We'll manage." We climb carefully in, the hammock swaying gently, cradling us as the distant sound of gentle waves merges with the soft rustle of palm fronds. The moon's glow halos Nyla's silhouette. She rests her head on my shoulder, and I cradle her bump with a tender palm. For a while we lie in content silence, gazing at the star-studded sky. The hush-hum of the ocean becomes a lullaby. My heart brims with a fierce protectiveness for this woman, for our baby, for the life we want to share. I slip an arm around her waist, adjusting to accommodate her belly, and she laughs softly, nestling closer. Her voice emerges quiet and vulnerable. I miss them. Lori, Trixa, even Derek's voice. I want them with us, safe and teasing me about baby clothes. I press my lips to her temple. We'll have them back. We can celebrate the baby's arrival together, Trixa picking wild baby outfits, Lori spoiling our child rotten. Her eyes glisten in the moonlight. I need that more than anything. I brush a gentle kiss against her lips, letting the moment deepen. The hammock sways, the hush of night wrapping us in intimacy. She shifts, cupping my cheek, a tear escaping as she leans in for a deeper kiss. Our closeness grows, a delicate dance of warmth and comfort. My fingers slip through her hair, her breath hitching with mingled longing and relief. We cling to each other, desperate to affirm love in a world of chaos. The baby stirs, pressing against Nyla's belly, reminding us of the new life that depends on our resilience. A wave of emotion surges. She slides a hand under my shirt, seeking the warmth of my skin, anchoring herself. I mirror that closeness, tracing the outline of her waist, mindful of her pregnant form. Moonlight and the hammock's gentle motion create a cocoon of privacy. We share hushed words that speak of hope and heartbreak, apologies for not solving everything, promises to stand strong. Our kisses deepen, weaving a tapestry of reassurance and desire. It's not about ignoring the horrors, but finding a pocket of solace, trusting that we can carry both hope and sorrow in the same heartbeat. Eventually, we slow breathe, mingling in the hush. Nyla nestles her head in the crook of my neck, exhaustion creeping in. The baby taps inside her belly, a faint series of rhythmic movements, almost as if lulled by the hammock's sway. I place my palm there again, marveling at the swirl of new life. "Our little fighter," I whisper, "just like you." She gives a sleepy laugh. Takes after the father, too, stubborn and unstoppable. A pang of emotion stabs me, thinking of everything we still must conquer. But for now, I let that recede, letting the night's serenity hold us. We remain in the hammock, savoring each other's touch, hearts beating in sync with the lull of waves. The hammock sways as her lips crash into mine, primal urgency replacing the earlier tenderness. Her fingers claw at my shirt with a hunger that matches the ocean's relentless pull. "Tear it off," she growls against my mouth, teeth grazing my lower lip.
I hate to put a stop to a good time, but it looks like we've hit this platform's limit for spiciness.
This platform's got some rules we have to play by if we want to keep giving you these stories for free.
And trust me, this scene isn't something you want to miss.
While we can't get into all the details here, you can still dive into the full, uncut version at TylaWalker.com.
Miss Tyla has an entire collection of unabridged audiobooks and ebooks waiting for you.
And the best part? You can treat yourself with 40% off when you use the code SAVE40.
That's right. You'll save on any digital product, even bundles that are already discounted.
Miss Tyla would never let anyone feel the kind of disappointment you must be feeling right now.
So why wait? Treat yourself with Miss Tyla.
She goes limp beneath me, chest heaving. "Okay," she pants. "You kept up." I collapse beside her, sand sticking to the sweat on my back. "Told you I'd bury you." Her foot nudges my shin. "In sand, apparently." We lie there, waves hissing nearby, until she turns her head, her grin's pure mischief. Think the hammock's salvageable? I eye the torn rope dangling from the palm tree. Doubt it. Good. She stretches, all lazy satisfaction. Means we'll have to christen the car next time. We drive home under a canopy of stars. Nyla dozes in the passenger seat, her hand occasionally drifting to her belly as if reassuring the baby that all is well. My mind whirls with gratitude for this brief respite from stress. It can't last, but it's exactly what we needed. When we step into our quiet condo, the phone on the kitchen counter blinks with a missed call. My pulse spikes. I help Nyla settle on the couch before I check the call log. The number belongs to Clark's team, labeled urgent. I dial back immediately. A tired but excited voice answers. Jacob, you're up. Good. Sorry for the late hour. No problem, I say, tension mounting. You found something? Shuffling papers crackle on the other end. Yes. We heard rumors that someone matching Laurie's description was spotted in an overseas port city. We don't have absolute proof, but the witness claims seeing a woman escorted by armed men heading onto a private ferry. We're verifying details. Figured you'd want to know. My grip on the phone tightens. Absolutely, thank you. Keep me posted the instant you confirm anything. Hanging up, I release a trembling breath. Another clue. Another faint lead that might mean she's alive. A swirl of hope and anxiety tangles in my chest. Nyla, from the couch, picks up on my expression. What's going on? She asks quietly. I cross the room, crouching beside her, brushing a thumb over her hand. Clark's team found a possible lead on Laurie, an overseas city. She was under guard, apparently. They can't confirm yet, but it's something. Her eyes flash with a surge of emotion. So she might be out of the country, too. Like Trixa rumored to be in a southwestern farmland. This is so scattered. I nod, pressing a gentle kiss to her knuckles. Scattered or not, it means people are seeing glimpses she's not gone. That alone means we keep pushing. She sinks back, a wave of relief mingled with fresh worry coloring her face. We will, we just have to. And Trixa... The phone call. Maybe she's hidden in farmland. Forced to labor. We'll rescue both. We have to. I envelop her in a hug, exhaustion claiming us both. Yes, I murmur. One step at a time. We won't abandon them. The night stretches onward, quiet and tense. But at least we hold each other, anchored by the baby's presence and the promise that we'll fight for our friends until they're safe again. Sleep eventually comes in fragments, overshadowed by new leads flickering like distant lanterns in the dark. Despite the fear, we cling to that light, resolute in our vow not to let these precious lives slip away.
Chapter 357, Laurie. I jolt awake, the soft hum of the air conditioner doing nothing to quell the eerie sense that someone's watching me. My room, if I can call this gilded prison a room, lies in darkness, save for a sliver of moonlight sliding through parted curtains. My heart pounds, eyes adjusting to the dim. I sit up, the thin silk sheet pooling around my waist, skin prickling with an indescribable unease. Then I see him, a tall silhouette in the corner between me and the door. Lucius. My breath stalls. He's standing impossibly still, hands behind his back, watching me in silence. One corner of my mind registers that he's fully dressed in a crisp shirt and tailored pants, as though he never intended to sleep. Another corner seethes with alarm at how quietly he entered. I hadn't heard the door open, hadn't sensed a movement or breath. How long has he been there? Lucius, I manage, voice hushed. What are you doing? He doesn't respond at first, stepping forward into the faint beam of moonlight. His face remains unreadable, eyes flicking over me, the bare arms peeking from my nightgown. A shiver crawls up my spine, and I tug the sheet higher, as if that flimsy fabric might protect me. You sleep fitfully, he says in a low whisper, ignoring my question. I heard you murmur someone's name. He tilts his head, mocking curiosity. Care to guess whose? My stomach twists. I remember scraps of a dream, Alexander's face, my own pleas for rescue. Did I speak them aloud? A wave of vulnerability crashes over me. I yank myself upright. Get out, I snap, though fear shapes my tone. I didn't invite you to watch me sleep. He takes another step, arms dropping to his sides. Your invitation isn't required. This entire estate is mine. Your room is no exception. Anger flares. I hate the reminder that everything I do is under his watch, but I hold his gaze, refusing to bow my head. I'm not an exhibit in your museum. If you want something, spit it out. A flicker of amusement passes over his features. I came to tell you we're returning to the city at dawn. I have business. You'll accompany me. My heart stammers, pounding out a frantic beat. Another forced trip into the city, another taunting taste of the world I used to roam freely. What if I refuse, I ask, though I already know the answer. His mouth curves into a half smile that chills me. You know better. We'll leave in a few hours. Pack whatever you need. Or pack nothing. My guards will handle you either way. A claustrophobic wave grips me, and how long will we be there? He shrugs, eyes glinting. Long enough. Then without warning he strides closer, stopping at the edge of my bed. I scramble backward, pressing against the headboard. He leans down, voice hushed. Don't try anything foolish. Last time you swung a bottle at one of them, that insolence cost him a bullet hole. Need I remind you of the price of disobedience? My skin prickles with revulsion. I remember he touched me. Inappropriately, I grit. I'm not your puppet. He straightens, exhaling softly as though disappointed. Such pointless defiance. You'd find life easier if you cooperated, if you accepted my generosity. A faint trace of some emotion flickers in his eyes, but it's gone so fast I can't name it. Sleep, Lori, we leave soon. I watch, rooted in uneasy silence, as he pivots and strides out. The door clicks behind him, leaving me trembling in the moonlit hush. After a few moments, I slide out of bed, heart still thudding. He was in here, silent, in the dark, watching me. My throat tightens with a surge of panic, the sensation of being caged multiplied 100-fold. I pace the suite, each step echoing on polished floors. The ocean's faint roar outside does nothing to comfort me. We're leaving for the city at dawn, but I know from experience that won't be a chance for freedom, only a twisted demonstration. He loves parading me through tinted windows, giving me fleeting glimpses of streets I used to roam. I wander to the bathroom, flicking on the overhead light. My reflection stares back. Haunted eyes, hair disheveled. You're not broken yet, I tell myself in a ragged whisper. Then I splash water on my face, letting the cold jolt me into sharper focus. If I'm returning to the city, maybe I can find a new angle to beg for help. An idea flickers. If I can slip away for a moment, maybe in a restroom or a store corridor, I could pass a note to a stranger or whisper a plea to a staff member. It's a thread of hope, slender but better than none. Teeth clenched, I decide to try. No matter how closely Lucius's men watch me, there might be a chink in their vigilance. My pulse quickens. I vow to keep my eyes wide open for that chance. A chill in the pre-dawn air greets me as I step onto the estate's dock, escorted by 2 guards. The speedboat's engine purrs, casting headlights across rippling water. Lucius stands by the boat, phone in hand, issuing last-second instructions to someone. The gloom hides half his face, leaving him an intimidating silhouette. I swallow, dread curling in my stomach. One guard prods me forward with a firm hand at my elbow. I stiffen but keep silent. The boat rocks under my weight as I climb aboard. Lucius ends his call, glances at me briefly, then signals the pilot. The engine revs and we skim away from the island into open sea. Waves slap the hull, salty wind cutting across my face. I peer over the side, but a guard shifts, blocking my view. The unspoken threat is clear. They'll manhandle me if I even think of leaping overboard. Not that I'd get far, these waters are patrolled by Lucius's people, and the distance to the mainland is more than a punishing swim. We ride for a stretch of time I can't measure, the horizon lightening into pale grays. Eventually the coastline materializes, and the pilot steers us into a private marina. My shoulders tense. Another dog and pony show in the city. The boat bumps the dock softly, and the pilot kills the motor. I watch Lucius step ashore first, all confident grace, then turn to help me up with a cool, guiding hand. I bristle at his touch. A black SUV waits. Guards load our minimal luggage. Lucius takes a seat in the back, gestures for me to slide in next to him. No choice. I climb in, a guard to my other side. The tinted windows snap my world into an enclosed, murky bubble. We roll out, snaking through quiet early morning streets. I can't help scanning for landmarks, yearning for some corner I might recognize. But the windows are tinted so dark, it's a haze of shadows outside. Lucius's men seldom choose routes that let me glean a sense of location. The city hum awakens slowly. A few pedestrians emerging with morning coffees, oblivious to the silent drama passing by in a luxury SUV. Eventually, we halt in a covered driveway belonging to what looks like a grand hotel or corporate building, high walls, uniformed doormen. The guard steps out, opens my door. Lucius motions me to follow him, an air of impatience in his stance. Inside, a marble-floored lobby with a grand chandelier welcomes us. Staff bow politely but avoid direct eye contact, as if they know better than to offend Lucius's authority. He leads me to an elevator bank. We ascend to a high floor, stepping into a luxurious suite, probably a second safe house in the city. The windows reveal glimpses of tall buildings and angled roads, reminiscent of the city's prime district. My chest tightens at the closeness of potential freedom, yet overshadowed by the certainty of armed men at every door. Lucius peels off his jacket, handing it to a waiting attendant. "I have a meeting soon," he tells me abruptly. "Stay here or roam the suite if you must. Guards will stand outside. Don't test them or you'll learn how serious they are." I glare. "You expect me to sit around while you do business?" "Indeed." He turns, voice dropping. "Of course, if you'd rather come along, we can arrange that. But you'll be bored and heavily watched." Bored is not the term that comes to mind. Terrified or desperate might fit. I cross my arms, deciding to remain behind. Less risk for now. "I'll stay," I mutter, jaw clenched. He beckons a female staffer from the corner, presumably assigned to watch me inside the suite. Then he strides out, guards in tow. The door clicks shut. I pace the plush living room, biting back curses. Another day, another cage. The suite's hush presses on me. I stand by a tall window, staring at the skyline beyond the tinted glass. Skyscrapers rise in every direction, a reminder that normal life teems just blocks away. My heart clenches. If I could slip onto the street, find a phone, call Nyla or the hospital, maybe, but I recall my last attempt. In that moment, Lucius's men pinned me to a wall, hammered me with silent threats. That memory keeps me cautious. A quiet cough from behind startles me. I whirl to see the female attendant, mid-30s, hair in a tight bun, watching from the suite's threshold. She has pity in her eyes, yet fear etched in her posture. She murmurs, "Would you like lunch, miss? Or tea?" Despite my roiling frustration, I appreciate her courtesy. "Tea would be fine," I say, voice subdued. Maybe I can glean something from her. But she steps away so quickly I can't muster a question. She's definitely under Lucius's rule. Sighing, I slump onto a sofa. Moments later, the attendant returns with a teapot and cups, placing them on a side table. I muster a small smile of thanks. She hesitates, lips parted like she might say something. Then a guard shifts in the hallway and she stiffens, scurrying away. My shoulders slump. No ally there, apparently. By noon, the suite's still quiet. Lucius remains at his meeting. The female attendant dropped by with fruit, then retreated again. I roam the corridors connected to the suite, a lounge, a bedroom, a small office. In the office, I notice a half-open door leading to a private bathroom. My pulse quickens. If I pretend to need a bathroom break with no guard in sight, maybe I can attempt an outside call or run into a staff area. I creep into the hallway. Guards stand near the elevator, arms folded. They don't even glance my way as I slip around the corner. The faint beep of a staff door catches my ear. My heart pounds. Could the staff's break room or a phone be beyond that door? Summoning courage, I adopt a casual pace, hugging the wall. The staff door is unmarked, but a faint hum of conversation leaks out. I hold my breath, pushing it open a crack. A housekeeping cart stands in a corridor. No occupant. Perfect. With a quick glance back, no guard in direct line of sight, I slip inside. The corridor smells of cleaning supplies. Another door at the far end might lead to a service elevator. My pulse thrums with excitement. This might be it. I edge forward, footsteps light, but halfway down, I hear voices approaching. Panicked, I press flat against the wall behind the housekeeping cart. 2 staffers pass by discussing laundry. My adrenaline spikes. Once they vanish, I scurry forward, scanning for an exit sign. I spot a sign, restroom/staff only, possibly a chance. I hurry inside, breath ragged. It's a single-stall bathroom, plain tile floors. The overhead fluorescent buzzes. My chest heaves with uncertain hope. If I can slip out to the main lobby from the staff corridor, I might beg a stranger for help. Or grab a housekeeping phone. But the risk is huge. I exit the bathroom into the corridor, turning left. Another door stands labeled Service Elevator. Yes. My nerves jangle as I open it carefully. Inside, a metal elevator cage awaits, the panel showing a floor selection. If I go to the lobby, I risk crossing the path of Lucius's men. But maybe I can outrun them or at least yell for help. I brace to press the button, then footsteps echo behind me, closer this time. Not mere staffers. My stomach drops. They must have noticed me missing. Without a second thought, I yank the door shut and dash back along the corridor. The housekeeping cart stands exactly where I left it, no cover now that I'm out in the open. The footsteps approach, accompanied by low voices. Desperate, I slip into a side alcove behind a tall storage locker. My heart thunders in my ears. 2 guards stride into view, suits, earpieces, searching. One flicks a glance down the corridor. I flatten myself behind the locker, barely daring to breathe. They pass within a few feet, scanning around. My entire body trembles. Then I hear the murmur of one guard into his phone. Yes, boss, we're checking the staff corridor. She might have tried something. My pulse seizes. That means Lucius discovered my absence. Another wave of fear churns. So much for my bold plan. If they find me, I'll face consequences. But maybe I can still slip away if they walk deeper. Except they pivot mid-corridor, turning around. I catch a glimpse through the gap as one guard checks behind the housekeeping cart. My nails dig into my palms. Suddenly, a clang of metal behind me triggers a chain reaction. My elbow must have nudged the storage locker. It rattles. The guard's head snaps toward the noise. One guard rushes forward, gun drawn. My stomach lurches. I have no cover, nowhere to run. I lock eyes with him, breath stuttering. He lunges, grabbing my arm in a bruising grip. "Found her!" he hisses. The other guard steps closer, scanning for threats. None. They yank me from behind the locker, not gentling their hold. "Please," I beg in a strangled whisper. "Shut up!" the first guard growls. He leads me back toward the suite's main corridor, pressing the muzzle of a concealed weapon into my rib cage. "What did we warn you about escaping?" I tremble, tears pricking the corners of my eyes, but I clamp my lips shut, refusing to cry out. They march me down the staff hallway, returning me to the posh suite. The female attendant stands near the door, startled. One guard grunts, "Lucius wants her in the lounge." Now. I'm thrust inside, stumbling to keep balance. My heart hammers as I see Lucius pacing in front of the windows, phone in hand. He looks up at our entrance, expression going icily still. How disappointing, he murmurs, sliding his phone away. I step out for a meeting and you exploit that trust. Again. I can hardly speak through the dryness in my throat. Trust? You keep me locked up like an animal. His eyes narrow. You are an investment. No matter how often you lash out, I won't lose my temper, but you test me, Laurie. He stalks forward, each step controlled. I shrink back, but the guard's hand digs into my arm. You wanted me to behave, I whisper, but you won't let me breathe. He halts, gaze flicking to the guard. Leave us. The guard releases me, stepping out. The door clicks shut. Now it's just me and Lucius in this silent, opulent lounge. My pulse roars in my ears. He extends a hand as if offering me a seat on the nearby velvet sofa. I remain standing, defiance bristling. A faint sigh escapes him. Must everything be a battle? If you had cooperated, I might have let you walk in the main halls, maybe visit a store under watch, but your attempt to vanish down the staff corridor kills that generosity. Tears threaten, but I keep them in check. I'm not your prisoner to spoil or punish at your whim. I'm a person. I have a life waiting for me out there. A mocking curve crosses his lips. A life with Alexander, with your nurse friend Nyla? Silly illusions. They can't protect you from me. He lifts a hand, brushing the back of his knuckles across my cheek. I recoil, rage burning in my gut. He sighs again. Such wasted energy. If you submitted, I'd consider letting you see them. Maybe an arranged meeting where they can witness your contentment. But you sabotage every chance. Why cling to a man who's rumored to be engaged to another? I freeze. The rumor about Matilda slicing through me anew. That's not... He wouldn't? Lucius smirks. Oh, you think he remains faithful? Word on the street says otherwise. He's forging alliances, possibly betrothed. Your memory fades as he builds new deals. So why sacrifice yourself for him? Tremors rack me, heartbreak mingling with disbelief. You lie, you manipulate. Even if he's forced into something, that doesn't mean I'm giving up. He studies me a moment, clearly pleased by my turmoil. Your loyalty is admirable if foolish. Still, I appreciate your spirit. He leans in, voice dropping. But remember, I control everything here and beyond. You'll never see Alexander again unless I decide. Understood? My fists clench. I will find a way no matter what you do. The retort tastes bitter, but it's all I have. Lucius tilts his head as though bored. We'll see. Then he straightens, glancing at the door. You'll remain here while I finalize my business. If you try to escape again, my men have orders to restrain you by any means. Understood? I nod, forcing composure. Understood, I echo flatly, though my heart pounds with the vow to try again if a real chance arises. He strides out, leaving me reeling in the quiet lounge. The echo of the door shutting resonates. My legs wobble, so I sink onto the sofa, hugging myself. Every attempt at freedom is overshadowed by his swift brutality, and that rumor about Alexander stings like an open wound. If he truly has a new fiancée, is my hope worthless? Yet I refuse to accept it. Maybe he's forced into that alliance to find me. The thought flickers, fueling my defiance. I rub my arms, shivering in the climate-controlled room. The city's outside these tinted windows, so close but unreachable. Time drags. Guards occasionally bring me water or a meal I barely touch. The attendant keeps her distance, eyes flicking with pity. Eventually, Lucius returns, a swirl of phone calls trailing him. He gestures sharply for me to rise. We're leaving a new place tonight. I stand, chest tightening. Another move? He beckons and the guards flank me. We head downstairs to the waiting SUV. The driver merges into city traffic, weaving among busy intersections that feel tantalizingly normal. My pulse leaps at the sight of pedestrians crossing with groceries, teenagers chatting at bus stops. If I could just leap from the car at a red light. But the door locks engage with a heavy clunk. The guards on either side of me remain watchful. Soon the SUV turns down a winding drive into a gated mansion, overshadowed by tall walls and thick gates. My heart sinks. Another fortress. The vehicle stops under a porte cochere. Lucius steps out, commanding. "Bring her," he says softly, and I'm hauled along. We pass through a grand foyer, high ceilings, marble floors, expensive artwork. The hush suggests it's not an active household, but a private domain. He leads me to a large sitting room, dimly lit by ornate lamps. Outside, the setting sun glows through stained glass windows, painting shifting colors on the walls. Lucius gestures for the guards to wait at the door. Once again, it's just me and him. My nerves buzz. The silence stretches. He moves to a window that overlooks a courtyard lined with manicured hedges. Finally, he speaks, voice calm yet menacing. "This is my city safe house," he says. "You'll stay here until I decide otherwise. No more illusions, no more island resort, just cold reality." I cross my arms, heart pounding. Why show me all this? Why not keep me locked in a basement? He smirks. "I prefer beauty around me, and you are part of that beauty, whether you like it or not." His gaze flicks over me as though evaluating. "Consider it a courtesy." My jaw tightens. "Your courtesy is a cage by another name." He shrugs, unruffled. "Call it what you will, but if you push me again, we can make it far less comfortable." I swallow, memories of narrowly evading violence swirling. "I'm not your property." He steps closer, dangerously close, breath ghosting my cheek. "You keep saying that, but you remain in my grip." His voice dips to a near whisper. "Accept the inevitable or torment yourself further. Either way, you won't see Alexander again." Rage and heartbreak coil in my chest. "I don't believe you. He'll look for me." My voice trembles, though I try to keep it firm. His eyes narrow, mouth curving in a condescending smile. "Hold on to that delusion if it comforts you." Then he backs away, signaling the conversation is done. He calls the guards with a snap of his fingers. "Escort her to the guest suite, make sure she's settled." My gut twists. The guards approach and I have to stifle the urge to spit curses at him. Instead, I clamp my lips and let them steer me down a corridor. The suite they lead me into is lavish. Soft carpets, plush bed, ornate dresser, but every detail feels suffocating. The guard checks the windows, locked or barred, I'm sure, then stands aside, arms folded. I glance back at the door. The other guard remains outside, so presumably one is posted within earshot. My heart sinks. This arrangement is tighter. No chance to slip out to staff areas undetected. I step to the window, verifying it's indeed locked from the inside with no latch. The guard's gaze never leaves me. Lucius's final words echo, "You'll never see Alexander again." Perhaps he aims to break me, but I refuse to yield. Even if Alexander is forced into some new alliance, I won't accept Lucius's twisted offer of behaving in exchange for partial freedom. That path leads to losing myself. I pace the suite, tension throbbing behind my temples. The guard stands by the door like a statue. Each step reminds me how precarious my situation is. No phone, no privacy, minimal illusions of comfort. The city hum beyond the mansion's walls mocks me, so close yet unattainable. With a shaky breath, I sink onto the bed. My mind reels, recounting every scrap of intel I have. Rumors of Alexander's possible engagement, the kidnapping's orchestrators, the orchard meltdown I overheard mention of. My head aches. I vow to remain strong. One day an opening will come if I can pass a message to a staffer or bribe a guard. Something. Night descends swiftly. The guard flicks on the single lamp, submerging the suite in warm gloom. My body feels drained, yet restless. If I attempt to sleep, will Lucius appear again to watch me from the dark? The thought makes my skin crawl, but there's no alternative. At some point, exhaustion wins. I doze on the bed, fully dressed, nightmares swirling of island captivity and near escapes. When I jerk awake, the lamp glows softly, the guard still posted. Outside, faint city noises echo, a distant siren, a car passing. My eyes dart around, expecting Lucius in a corner, but he's not there. Relief wars with dread. He could appear any time. I slump back, chest tight. No matter how fiercely I resist, Lucius's noose tightens. He moves me as he pleases, city to island, island to city. Each attempt at freedom ends in a locked suite. But giving up isn't an option. Even if my final attempt ended in captivity, I gleaned small seeds of possibility. Staff corridors, phone calls. If I remain alert, maybe the next time I can slip a note. The fear of what he might do if I'm caught again is enormous, but the fear of living forever in this twisted bondage is worse. Gradually, I close my eyes, letting a shaky exhale pass my lips. My muscles ache from tension. In the hush, the guard's breathing stands out, calm and steady. He's not leaving, but neither am I. If Lucius's new arrangement in the city takes days or weeks, I have no idea how long I'll be locked in this safe house. A silent vow forms. I must keep my wits, must keep trying.
He's the mysterious man I had a fling with last night, and it turns out he's my dad's new boss.
I was getting IVF, but the donor came in and wanted his stuff back. It was too late. Now we're stuck together and I'm having his baby.
Ready to dive into a world where passion meets intrigue, where love knows no bounds.
If I don't find a woman to marry in the next 24 hours, then my entire company is going to be taken from me. There's only one woman I can ask, but she hates me because I ruined her father.
Introducing the Escape Your Life with Romance Book Bundle by Amazon best-selling author Tyler Walker, a collection of 100 standalone romances that promised to sweep you off your feet.
And the best part?
Get 90% off on the whole bundle, baby.
For $99.99, you'll get over 800 hours of pure romance with strong alpha males and sassy women who don't back down.
They can pass all the tariffs they want, ladies. But you won't find this deal for 100 audiobooks for less than $1 each anywhere else.
90 cents per book for all the dirty fun I can handle? How could I say no to that?
Visit TylerWalker.com to grab this bundle today.
Get ready to escape your life
with Miss Tyler.
Chapter 3, 158. Jacob. A roar of desert wind slaps dust across my boots, painting the hem of my black cargo pants in a gritty layer. Beyond the battered wire fence, a cluster of flimsy barracks sprawls in the midday glare. I inhale, tasting the arid heat on my tongue, then glance over my shoulder at the 4 men crouched behind a half-ruined wall. Each one grips a rifle or shotgun, faces set in grim concentration. Everyone set? I speak quietly into the comm bud nestled in my ear. Clark's voice crackles back. In position by the west gate. No sign of extra patrols. Agent Rowley, hunkered down next to me, peers over the crumbling concrete. Her ex-FBI credentials lend an air of calm authority. Jacob, you sure about coming personally? She murmurs, eyes scanning the perimeter. We can handle it. You have a wife waiting. She's 7 months pregnant. I clamp my jaw, thinking of Nyla. Unwavering gaze, unshaken support. She hates watching me walk into danger, but we have no time to waste if Trixa is trapped inside. I'm sure, I say tightly. We're too close to stand back. If Trixa's in there, I want to be the one bringing her out. A handful of local mercenaries men we've hired for their knowledge of the region shift impatiently behind me. One, a wiry fellow named Hector, taps his foot on the ground. They said this place is the biggest labor facility in this area. If Trixa's here, we gotta move before they lock it down. I nod, flicking open a battered map. The building's layout is sketched in shaky lines. We storm the gate, subdue any guards, free the workers. Keep an eye out for Trixa, Mid-20s, dark hair, not a local. Check the photo we distributed. If anyone recognizes her, grab them. Rowley checks her watch, then addresses the team. Clark, confirm you're ready on the west side. Hector, you and Ramirez circle the east fence. Wait for my signal. Clark's comm clicks. Ready? On your mark. A swirl of dust drifts through the air, stinging my eyes. My heartbeat throbs against my ribs. Subtle infiltration was a bust. These guards can't be bribed. We're resorting to a swift raid. Trixa's last 911 call pinned her to somewhere southwestern farmland. And this site is rumored to house forced laborers and patients from a sham mental institution. The thought of Trixa trapped here twists my gut. We're ending this place. Rowley lifts a hand, fingers counting down. 3, 2, 1. Hector and Ramirez sprint low across open ground, circling the fence. Immediately, Clark's voice hisses in my ear. Distraction in 5, 4. I glimpse motion by the gatehouse. Clark lobs a small smoke canister that rattles on the dirt, spewing thick gray plumes. Shouts erupt from inside the fence, guards cursing in a language I half recognize. Shots ring out pop-pop. Someone returns fire, but it's scattered. The swirling smoke partially hides them. Go! Rowley barks, and I lunge from behind the crumbling wall, boots pounding dusty earth. Hector's demolition wire whips across the fence's rusted links, cutting a wide gap. The reek of smoke intensifies, swirling confusion as guards scramble. Ramirez shoves the chain link aside. In! He yells. I duck through the opening, rifle raised. Another shot cracks overhead. My pulse spikes. A guard in mismatched fatigue stands by a bunkhouse corner, gun aimed. I drop to a knee, returning one shot that zips close enough to make him duck. He retreats, shouting for backup. Careful! Rowley warns, pressing her back against a half-toppled shed and scanning corners. We don't want a bloodbath. I nod tersely, glimpsing quick movement near a cinderblock building. Agreed. Subdue them. We're not here to kill, only to rescue. Clark's comm buzzes. I've got the main gate. 2 guards pinned. They're dropping weapons. A couple ran inside. We need to sweep fast before they radio for reinforcements. I wave Hector forward, leading a charge across the bare courtyard. The punishing sun glares off sheets of corrugated roofing. Yells echo from huts, where workers or prisoners must sense chaos. My heart pumps a relentless beat, Trixa. If you're in one of these shacks, hold on. We reach the nearest bunkhouse. Corrugated metal walls rusted at the base. Hector slams the door with his shoulder, rifle at the ready. Inside, dusty cots line the walls, battered desks, the stench of unwashed bodies. A cluster of frightened men and women blink in the half-light, no sign of Trixa among them. My chest tightens with frustration. Rowley raises a calming hand. We're not here to harm you, she calls, voice firm but gentle. Stay down and we'll get you out. They stare wide-eyed, wearing tattered clothes. One older woman collapses, sobbing. My chest constricts at the sight, but we must keep searching. I wave 2 of our local mercenaries forward. Guide them outside. Keep them safe. They comply, coaxing the frightened workers toward the open courtyard. Next building, an administrative shack with barred windows. Gunshots rattle from behind it, making me duck. Clark's voice crackles again. Jacob, watch your left. More hostiles near the second fence row. I sprint behind a stack of crates. Cover me, Rowley! I call, adrenaline surging. She pops up, firing short bursts to pin the guards. I dash across the open gap, heart in my throat, and slam into the shack's door. Locked. Hector, blow it! I shout, stepping aside. He kneels, slaps a small breaching charge near the lock. It beeps thrice. Then a controlled pop sends splinters flying. I rush inside with my rifle raised. The interior is cramped, a desk littered with paperwork, a faint chemical odor. A guard leaps from behind the desk, pistol in hand. Instinct flares fire a single shot at the desk's leg, making him yelp and drop the pistol. Hector pounces, forcing him to the floor, zip-tying his wrists. The man babbles in a dialect we only partly understand. Rowley steps in, scanning quickly. "No Trixa here, just files," she says, yanking open a filing cabinet. Her face darkens, flipping through battered folders. "These are bogus mental diagnoses or forced labor rosters. Sick stuff." My gut churns. Trixa could be among these names if they used a cover identity. "Grab what you can," I say, voice tight, "and we'll sort it out later." Shouts echo from outside, metal gates rattling. Clark's comm flares. "We've opened the main pen. Freed about 30 laborers. No sign of your friend. Some mentioned that new arrivals were transferred last week in another camp. Possibly bigger." I grit my teeth, cursing softly. Rowley yanks a battered ledger from the drawer, stuffing it into her satchel. Hector restrains the guard, holding up Trixa's photo. "Seen her?" Hector demands in the local dialect, voice low but sharp. The guard just shakes his head, trembling. "Not talking," I mutter, stepping outside into the glare. Freed workers drift, confused, tears on some faces. Clark stands in the courtyard, conferring with a short man who looks half-starved. As I approach, the short man tries to speak halting English. Yes, many from other places. We arrived. The woman, yes, she was here, rumor says, but gone. They took her, maybe weeks ago. She was trouble for them. They didn't want her with us." My pulse leaps. Is she mid-20s? Dark hair from a wealthy background? He offers a helpless shrug, though I sense flickers of recognition. "We only know she fought them. They talk about moving her to a bigger place, canyon or mountains. That's all I heard, I swear. Bosses said she... 'cause problems." My fists clench. Trixa was likely here only to be moved. Another dead end, but at least a shred of confirmation. "Which direction? Any details?" He scratches his threadbare shirt, eyes flicking to the burned gate. "They mention West Side Mountains. Not sure. So many rumors." Rowley jots notes, her mouth set in a grim line. Clark's men gather the last guards, disarming them. The place is effectively dismantled, though it's chaos. Freed workers shuffle, some crying in relief, others dazed. My chest tightens. This is good, but Trixa's not among them. I glare at the battered fence, frustration swirling. "Let's burn the rest or hand it to the locals," I say, voice low. "We can't let them restart." Clark adjusts his comm, speaking to a local contact. "Authorities are inbound, but so is the media. The camp is a big story. You want to vanish before cameras descend?" I nod. "Yes, the minute the cops secure it. Another camp must hold Trixa, and once the news breaks, they'll hide her deeper." My free hand clenches. "But at least we freed these people. That's something." Hector jogs over, sweat drenching his shirt. "Found a basement stuffed with sedation meds, bunk straps. Horrifying." I swallow revulsion. "We blow that up too. No one else gets tortured here." Smoke plumes twist into the late afternoon sky. The camp's main structures lie wrecked or in flames, local authorities plus stunned onlookers flooding the area. Freed workers, around 60 total, linger outside the gate under watchful eyes. I stand at the edge of the chaos, dryness in my mouth, as local news crews film the horrifying discovery. Our infiltration became a massive rescue. The public is outraged. Passers-by cry out in disbelief at labor camps in modern times. Rowley tugs my sleeve, edging me away from rolling cameras. "You'll be recognized, overshadowing Stone Hospital's name," she mutters, guiding me behind a battered truck. "We should slip out before they zero in on you for interviews." I glance at newly freed captives. None can confirm Trixa's exact whereabouts, but they mention bigger camps. My frustration roils. "Yeah," I say, forcing calm. "We found enough to know Trixa was here, but moved on. Another location. This is just the start of something bigger." We load into a dusty SUV. Clark takes the wheel, Rowley the passenger seat. I slump in the back, mind spinning from adrenaline and heartbreak. Trixa is locked behind multiple layers of corruption, one camp after another. My phone buzzes. I glance at it. Nyla calling. I answer, voice tight. Hey! Her relief and worry mingle through the phone. Jacob, I saw the news. Are you okay? They said a covert operation freed a labor camp. You made it out safely? I exhale, shoulders sagging. I'm fine, scraped and dusty. We freed a lot of people, but Trixa wasn't among them. We learned she'd been there weeks ago, then got moved. Another camp might hold her. She sighs shakily. At least she's alive. But the media swirl means they'll hide her again. You sure you're not hurt? No big injuries. The guards caved quickly. I press a hand to my sweaty forehead. The site is destroyed. A big blow to them. But everything's about to go public. We can't keep it quiet anymore. And Trixa's still missing. Nyla's voice trembles. Keep pushing, but come home. I have news about Derek. A cold spike grips me. News! He's awake, fully conscious. Asking for you. Relief slams me, tears pricking my eyes. He is? That's incredible. I'll be there soon. Derek might recall details from that orchard handover the day Trixa vanished. I love you. Hang tight. Love you, she murmurs, voice thick. Drive safely. I hang up, letting the phone rest in my lap. Rowley glances back. Everything okay? I nod, swallowing emotion. Derek, my friend. He's out of his coma. He might help us find Trixa. She offers a small, understanding smile. Then let's get you home. Night drapes the city in flickers of neon and streetlights. Our SUV pulls into my condo's secure garage. Clark and Rowley parted ways downtown, handling the final post-op details. Exhaustion weighs on me like a leaden blanket. Freed laborers, the acrid stench of that camp's smoke, Trixa's memory haunting me. Yet we gained a clue. She was there, then moved on. I step from the car, body stiff. The elevator ride up feels endless, each floor a silent testimony to how close, but also how far Trixa remains. Finally, the doors open onto my hallway. Nyla stands there, arms wrapped around her belly, expression flooding with relief as she sees me. She rushes forward, ignoring the dust caking my shirt, pulling me into a trembling hug. I melt against her, inhaling the soft scent of her hair. You're here, she breathes, voice wavering. I was so scared after the news footage. I bury my face in her neck. I'm fine, just worn out. Her hands frame my face, eyes searching for injury. You sure no bullet grazes, nothing? You smell like smoke. I manage a weak grin. Trust me, I'd mention if I was shot. Just let me shower and we'll head to Derek. She nods, guiding me inside. I quickly rinse off the grimy residue, don fresh clothes. My nerves still hum with leftover adrenaline. Soon we're driving to Stone Hospital under the hush of midnight. Fluorescent lights flood the ICU corridor. Tension thrums in my chest as we approach Derek's room. So many memories swirl here. Nyla's shifts, Trixa's visits. Another pang hits me, but I press on. If Derek's awake, we might glean crucial details. A nurse with a gentle smile steps aside for us. Go on in, she says softly. He's conscious, though easily tired. We slip inside. The hiss of oxygen and beeping monitors greet me. Derek lies propped on pillows, eyes half-lidded, but a spark of awareness brightens when he spots us. Relief sets my heart pounding. Derek, I whisper, crossing to his bedside. His lips twitch in a faint grin. Jacob, you look exhausted. The words come raspy, but they're sweeter than any lullaby. A half-choked laugh escapes me. Better exhausted than comatose. Good to see you, man. I gently clasp his hand, mindful of the IV lines. Nyla stands beside me, tears brimming as she sets a hand on Derek's forearm. He glances at her belly, a flicker of awe crossing his gaze. 7 months, huh? You guys... unstoppable. She sniffles. "Don't make me cry," she jokes weakly. "We missed you so much." He tries shifting, wincing. "What happened after I got shot at the evidence handover? Trixa, did you find her?" Nyla and I share a heavy look. My throat tightens. "She's still missing," I admit. "We suspect forced labor camps. We just raided one today, freed a bunch of prisoners, but no Trixa. They said she was moved on weeks ago." Pain etches Derek's features. I remember standing with Trixa to hand over that evidence. She was so determined to end Marcus's corruption. Jacob was there, but we couldn't stop them. Marcus even shot himself. It was chaos. A bullet hit me, everything went dark. I failed Trixa. "No," I say firmly, swallowing the lump in my throat. "We're doing everything we can to get her back. You didn't fail." He blinks, tears gathering. "Marcus must have known it, or at least started it. But if these labor camps are bigger than him, Trixa's in deep trouble." Nyla exhales shakily, voice hushed. "Derek, did she say anything about a final location? A plan? Anything we can use to pinpoint her?" He shuts his eyes briefly, trying to recall. "She mentioned a rumor that her father had deeper money trails, hidden facilities. She didn't know the extent, just suspected he had a network. She was collecting evidence, hoping to blow it open. That's all I remember. I'm sorry. It's enough," I say gently. "We know we're dealing with something bigger than just Marcus's personal vendetta. We'll keep searching. Today proved we can uncover these camps if we push hard enough." My chest aches at the heartbreak on Derek's face. He turns a soft gaze to Nyla's belly again. "You have a child on the way. Don't risk everything for me or Trixa. Promise me you'll be careful." She sniffles, brushing a tear away. "Your family, Derek. Trixa is too. She saved Nyla and the baby. We can't just do nothing. But yes, we'll be careful." He nods, exhaustion heavy in his eyes. The nurse peeks in, giving us a gentle reminder. He needs rest. I gently squeeze Derek's hand. "Heal up. We'll keep you posted, all right?" A hint of a grin touches his lips. "Kick their asses and bring Trixa home." Nyla leans down, pressing a brief kiss to his cheek. "We will." Her voice trembles with conviction. Nyla leans against the wall, shoulders sagging with relief and sorrow. "He's alive, awake, but Trixa's still out there. I don't know how to feel." I slip an arm around her, steering her away from passing staff. "It's progress. Derek might recall more once he recovers. Meanwhile, we keep pressing those camp leads. The one we raided gave us a clue. They moved Trixa a few weeks back. We'll find the next one." She nods, eyes shining with fresh tears. "Thank you," she whispers, resting her head on my chest. "Let's go home. I need rest. And so do you." My mind churns with images of that dusty camp, the people we freed, Trixa's rumored presence. Another wave of determination hits me. We'll gather fresh leads in the morning. I'll coordinate with Clark, keep investigating who's bankrolling these places. Nyla's arms circle around me, her belly pressing between us. We have to be unstoppable. For Trixa's sake, for Derek's hope, for our baby. We must not stop looking for Lori, too. Did Alexander give you an update? I shake my head and hold her close, the quiet hum of the hospital around us. Shadows of a vast network swirl, but Derek's awakening, the partial confirmation Trixa was in the last camp, and the sense that we're unraveling some monstrous chain of sites all push me forward. We have to keep tearing them down, one by one, until Trixa is free and we find Lori. Squeezing Nyla's hand, I guide her to the elevator, hearts beating as one. The path is perilous, but we won't stop until Trixa is safe. Because a friend in need, a life in captivity, no matter how formidable our enemies, will cut through the barbed wire fences and forced labor lies, forging a path out of darkness.
Chapter 359. Alexander. A subdued hush clings to the Sokolov estate this morning, as though every occupant braces for another round of turbulence. I'm no stranger to the tension. Standing at the broad window of my private study, I angle my back toward the pale sun creeping over the horizon, my focus pinned on the gravel driveway below. A half-dozen black sedans arrived earlier, carrying senior members of the old guard who all claim to have the perfect solution to the Empire's fractures. I've been listening to the same solution for weeks now. Marry Matilda Vincenzi. It started as a careful suggestion from a small group of elders, then grew until almost every influencer in Sokolov circles insisted it was my best shot at quelling rebellion and forming new alliances. For days on end, I've wrestled with the idea. Matilda's father holds the power and resources that might help me find Lori and crush the breakaway factions, but the cost weighs on me constantly. I haven't refused the plan outright. I can't if I want to stop further bloodshed. Still, the notion of binding myself in a political marriage leaves a bitter taste. A quiet tap on the door pulls me from my thoughts. It opens to reveal Dmitri, his broad shoulders tense with the worries of the past month. "Sir," he says softly, easing the door shut behind him. "One of the family council's top advisors is here to speak with you. Says it won't take long. He knows Matilda's coming soon." I exhale, setting my jaw. "Let him in," I reply after a beat. But he gets 5 minutes, no more. Dmitri nods and disappears. Moments later, the handle turns again, and an older man in a tailored suit steps inside. His pale gray eyes wear the severity typical of old guard advisors, and the faint musk of ancient cologne follows him. He offers a shallow bow that I find more mocking than respectful. "I won't waste your time," he begins. "But you know this morning is crucial. Matilda's presence here is a statement." I force myself to face him, tension radiating through my shoulders. "I've hosted her before, remember?" My tone is sharper than I intend. "We've already talked about the alliance. I'm aware of the statement." A flash of impatience crosses his face. "Then you realize good faith is expected. You've asked for time to think, but the Empire can't wait. The old families want to see decisive action. No more half measures." I fold my arms, morning light sharpening the edge of my features in the reflection of the window. Everyone acts like the Empire collapses if I don't finalize this arrangement tomorrow. I'm doing my part to keep Oleg's breakaway cells in check. If Matilda's father assists, fine, but don't mistake my caution for laziness. "Caution is one thing," the man counters, "but your men speak of your hesitation. They suspect you're stalling. Meanwhile, internal strife festers, rebellious cells, loyal to Oleg or suspicious of your leadership. They see no major ally by your side, and that invites chaos." My jaw tightens. I recall the swirl of rumors that paint me as reluctant or indecisive. "I'm already handling Oleg," I say. "We're dismantling his enclaves, one by one." "Barely enough." The advisor sighs, lines deepening around his mouth. "I won't lecture you on tradition. I'll only say this. Let Matilda stand at your side for real, or you risk more families turning away. She arrives soon. Greet her properly." I stifle a retort, turning away in a dismissive gesture. "I'll handle it." He offers another shallow bow, then departs, leaving me alone with my frustration. For days I've heard half-promises about what Matilda's father could do, how his networks might help me find Lori, how he might help end the turmoil in my empire. I've never liked the arrangement, but each passing hour confirms that I need allies. Searching for Lori with limited resources has led to endless dead ends. If forging ties with Matilda offers new leads, can I keep stalling? I shake the thought off. From the corridor outside, I hear more footsteps. Dimitri enters, expression resigned. "Boss, she's here," he says simply. I give a tight nod. Let's not keep her waiting. I find Matilda in the marbled foyer, exactly where she was greeted before during her previous visits. Her back is turned, clad in a sleek lilac sheath, examining a display of antique vases with a posture that radiates confidence rather than curiosity. She seems to expect me to approach on her terms. When I get close, she turns, a knowing smile lighting her face. "Alexander," she greets. "We meet again." There's a velvety edge in her voice I've come to recognize. "I see you haven't changed much of your decor since last time. Are you afraid of fresh starts?" I keep my tone even. My priorities lie elsewhere. Dimitri clears his throat behind me, asking if he should show her to her quarters. Matilda waves a dismissive hand, focusing on me. "Why not escort me personally?" she suggests with playful insistence. "We can pick up where we left off, discussing the arrangement." Her words make my brow tighten. We left off in a stalemate last time. I refused to confirm a wedding date. She demanded a show of unity. Still, I dip my head and lead her up the grand staircase, ignoring staff members who cast sidelong glances. Matilda's bodyguards follow, but she dominates the conversation, either praising or critiquing every fixture, every tapestry, her comments half curious, half condescending. At the second floor, I stop at a polished mahogany door. "You're sweet," I say, pushing it open to reveal a set of plush rooms with a balcony overlooking the gardens. Gold morning light spills across the floor. Matilda steps in, glancing around. She runs her fingers over a velvet armchair, then gives me a slow, appraising look. "Better than last time," she muses. "I see you changed the curtains. Are you trying to impress me, or was that incidental?" "Incidental," I reply curtly. "You can rest now. I've matters to attend to." She tilts her head, amusement dancing on her lips. "Don't vanish all day, Alexander. I'm not here to twiddle my thumbs." I offer forced politeness. "We'll talk soon." I exit before I can say something harsher. Her presence always tests my patience, shining with that blend of playful arrogance and unwavering confidence. This alliance might be the key to the resources I need information on Lori's disappearance, the muscle to quell the breakaway factions, but it also feels like dancing with a serpent in fine attire. I flee to my private office, seeking a semblance of calm. The estate's corridors feel too vast, too silent. Inside, lamps glow softly, and a low fire crackles in the hearth. I settle behind my desk, sifting through intelligence reports about Oleg, my distant cousin turned traitor, who's forced me to adopt harsher methods. The Empire reels from his insurrection, and I can't show weakness now. I'm massaging a low headache at my temple when the office door eases open. Expecting Dimitri, I glance up, only to see Matilda again this time in a midnight bathrobe, parted to reveal too much bare skin. She closes the door with a quiet click. My nerves jolt. "Matilda," I say, locking my face into neutrality. "I didn't summon you." She steps forward, an air of coyness in her movement. "Summons are for subordinates. We're partners, remember? Or so the council keeps saying." I stand, using my desk as a barrier. "We've discussed boundaries. This is my private office. You can't just walk in unannounced." Her eyes dip to the bathrobe's collar, and she toys with it. "Is it purely business between us, then?" She wonders aloud. "Our families want a real union, not just signatures." I let out a measured breath. I'm not opposed to the alliance as a strategic move, but I won't accelerate it with seduction. I need time to crush the breakaway factions, and I need to keep searching for Lori, my missing friend. I can't indulge in this. Matilda's gaze flickers to the pile of intelligence papers on my desk. "Weeks of caution," she murmurs. "Rumors say you're stalling. Men die, your empire unravels. My father has waited, but he won't wait forever." My voice turns clipped. "If your father wants to help, let him. I'll accept his networks if it helps me track Lori or handle the rebellion. Parading into my office in a robe doesn't fix anything." She steps closer, reaching as if to brush my chest. I seize her wrists, pushing them back, my tone a growl. "I dictate how we appear to the world. No one forces me into a bedroom for show." She stares at me, lashes fluttering as though in mock innocence. "You can't bury every desire. People talk, Alexander. They say you once roamed the underworld with unstoppable ambition. Where is that man now?" Heat flares in my chest, a reminder of who I used to be before these burdens piled up. "He's busy holding the empire together," I say flatly, "and that matters more than fleeting seduction." Exhaling, Matilda steps back, letting the robe slip a fraction lower. "Fine. Keep your distance. But if your empire collapses while you stall, don't blame me." She crosses to the door, glancing over her shoulder with an amused twist of her lips. "Next time, I might not let you push me away so easily." With that, she's gone, leaving me rigid behind the desk, fists clenched. She's done this sort of thing before, every time trying to press me into a more intimate display of acceptance. I resent how effectively it rattles me. The old guard demands we stand as one. Her father withholds final support unless I move closer to an engagement. But I refuse to be caged by lust or politics. I sit, pressing a hand to my brow. The fire's glow dances across the wood-paneled walls, reflecting my inner turmoil. No matter how I spin it, this alliance feels suffocating. Dmitri comes knocking sometime later, his posture uneasy. "Boss, Oleg's waiting in the old wine cellar. You told me you wanted an update." I gather the papers on my desk, forcing Matilda from my mind. "Right," I mutter. "Let's see him." We traverse the back corridors to a heavy oak door leading into the estate's subterranean wine cellar. The air grows damp, tinged with the scent of cork and aged stone. Torches line the walls, casting jittery light on rows of dusty racks. Near the far wall stands an empty space, once used for tastings. Now, Oleg slumps on a stool, shackled at wrists and ankles, enforcers posted on either side. His gaze snaps up at our approach, eyes brimming with raw defiance. He's disheveled, shirt stained, hair unkempt. "Alexander," he rasps. "Come to gloat?" I clamp down on my revulsion. "You spread rebellion, sowed chaos among my men. You turned your back on the Sokolov name. Oleg snorts, though the action causes him to wince. The Sokolov name means nothing when you sell yourself to Vincenzi. Didn't the rumors say that's your plan? Dmitri bristles, but I hold up a hand for calm. Oleg spits on the floor. Go on. Kill me. My men will never bow to a Sokolov who marries for political show. My voice remains cold. Your petty revolt cost loyal men their lives. That alone justifies burying you. But rumor says you know more about these breakaway enclaves. You'll share it. Oleg's sneer twists. So I become your snitch? He rattles the chains. I'm stripped of the Sokolov name, locked in a cellar. But you expect me to talk? Leaning closer, I lower my tone. Either you talk, or I bury you so deep no one finds a trace. I'm not playing games. Where are your enclaves? Your weapon stashes? He hesitates, flicking a glance at Dmitri and the guards. Suppose I do talk. Then what? You let me walk free? That depends on the value of your intel, I say. I give Dmitri a nod, and he readies a small recorder. List the loyal pockets, now. Oleg stares at the floor, tension in his jaw. Finally, he mumbles half a dozen addresses on the city's outskirts, each rumored to hold weapon stockpiles. They're more loyal to me than you realize, he adds with a sneer. Don't expect them to roll over. I memorize the locations. We'll see how loyal they stay once I arrive. I say grimly, if we discover you lied, you'll beg for mercy. He barks a ragged laugh. Mercy from a man who's courting Vincenzi? Don't pretend you're above anything. Then his gaze darkens. And how about that lost little nurse of yours? If you want to know where she is? My temper snaps. Don't speak her name! I hiss, cutting him off with a glare. I jerk my chin toward the guards. Lock him deeper. No visitors without my approval. The guards yank him upright, dragging him further into the cellar's gloom. His curses echo off damp stone. Dmitri's face looks as tense as mine. You trust what he gave us? He asks. I shake my head. No, but we'll check each address. Crush any rebellious enclaves. If they're connected to Laurie's disappearance in any way, maybe we'll glean new leads. We climb the steps, neither of us speaking. Once we reach the corridor, Dmitri murmurs. The old guard's pressing for that sign of unity with Matilda, boss. Hitting Oleg's cells might buy time, but not enough if you keep stalling. I harden my jaw, refusing to answer. I know he's right. But I also know each success stamping out rebellion fosters the old guard's conviction that I need Matilda at my side. I can't keep stalling forever. For now, I'll handle Oleg's enclaves and see what tomorrow brings. By mid-afternoon, I'm in the estate's expansive garage, tension coiling through me like a spring. 4 black SUVs idle with engines humming. A half-dozen loyal soldiers finalize weapon checks. Dmitri recaps the plan. Strike 3 enclaves simultaneously. Dismantle them with minimal bloodshed. I slip into tactical gear with an inward groan, recalling how I once promised myself I'd avoid the underworld's brutality. Now, I'm in the thick of it. The SUVs peel out, gliding along lesser-known roads. At the first target, a warehouse in the industrial district, we skid to a halt under a twilight sky. I jump out, scanning the perimeter. Rusted shipping containers dot the yard, 2 armed sentries on guard. A hush envelops the team. We move swiftly, subduing the sentries with muffled scuffles. Then we breach a side door, Inside, flickering fluorescent lights reveal crates stamped with fake labels. A warning shout from deeper within. Gunfire rattles the walls. My adrenaline spikes as we take cover behind crates, returning fire in precise bursts. Sparks fly, the warehouse thick with smoke. I yell for them to surrender. 2 men comply in terror. The other 2 press on until flanking maneuvers force them down. Shots ring out, leaving them wounded. I stifle a grimace at the spatter of blood across the concrete. We secure the warehouse, confiscate a stash of rifles. The subdued rebels kneel, ankles bound. I leave a squad behind to hold the site. Then we barrel off to the next location, an apartment block in a derelict quarter. Another standoff, more forced compliance. Each time, the distaste in my gut grows, but the Empire demands results. By dusk, we tackle the last target, a hidden basement under a seedy bar. This time they surrender at once, no shots fired, which soothes me a little. We gather them, verify their ties to Oleg, haul them out. Some weep, claiming ignorance. Others curse my name. Near midnight, I return to the estate in the lead SUV. My muscles ache from tension. The acrid odor of gunpowder clings to my clothes. As we pull into the courtyard, staff scatter, reading the exhaustion in my face. Dmitri offers to file the final report, letting me find some quiet. Except the corridor is anything but quiet when Matilda steps out of the main salon. You slip away for hours without explanation, she says, her crimson gown swaying around her legs. Her tone is half indignant, half accusatory. Then you come back reeking of bullets and sweat. Should I applaud your heroics or chastise your manners? My frustration flares, but I hold it in check. I had tasks, I say tersely, brushing past her. She matches my stride, her perfume cloying in the still air. My father expects me to confirm you value this alliance, she goes on. And all I see is a man constantly off on violent errands, ignoring me. Or is that your plan? Keep me at arm's length forever. I spin to face her near the corridor's arch, halting us both. The chandelier overhead casts a bright glow that highlights the grime on my vest. Don't twist this. I'm playing along because I need your father's resources, not because I relish the idea of tying myself to you. She huffs a short laugh. You act like I'm here for my own amusement. We both gain from this. If you want help finding your friend Lori, if you want to quiet the old families, you need me, Alexander. Or do you think you can handle it all alone? A tightness lodges in my chest. I handled Oleg's enclaves just fine. Don't pretend your father's aid is the only path. Her gaze flicks over me, from my sweaty hair to my dusty boots. Impressive. But politics isn't solved by brute force. The council expects unity. They want to see me integrated into your life, not shuffled around like a spare piece. I suppress the anger roiling in me. Unity. Right. We're not even sure how far this alliance goes. I've delayed the engagement because I'm not certain I want to finalize it. A faint smile touches her lips. Yet you haven't denied it outright. You're stalling, hoping to rescue your lost friend and mop up rebellion first. But time's running out. Eventually, you'll have to choose. Before I can snap back, my phone buzzes in my pocket. I curse under my breath. Matilda arches a brow, stepping aside with a triumphant tilt to her chin. Answer it. Another crisis, I assume. I glance at the screen. A blocked number referencing fresh intel from the Vincenzi network about Lori. My heart stutters. I look at Matilda, seeing that smug satisfaction in her eyes. "Information on Lori?" she asks sweetly. My father's intelligence never sleeps. I swallow. Yes, I say quietly. What does he know? She retrieves a sleek black folder from a nearby console table. I see the Vincenzi crest. He told me to give you this, a demonstration of how we might help. My pulse kicks up as I open the folder. The first photo reveals a dusk-lit street by an opulent estate. Lori steps from a luxury car, clad in a midnight blue gown, posture calm but strangely distant. 2 armed men flank her. My breath catches. The next picture shows her at the top of a short marble staircase, hesitating as a tall man in a polished suit offers his hand. I don't recognize him at all, but something about the posture and aura suggests he's no small-time player. Her hand hovers near his, as if deciding whether to take it. The angle implies she eventually lets him lead her inside. I flip the page, my chest tightening. No sign of bruises or overt distress, but the absence of fear doesn't guarantee freedom. She doesn't look like a hostage, Matilda comments, voice low. Are you sure she needs saving? I snap the folder shut, mind spinning. Whoever that man is, he's dangerous, I mutter, teeth clenched. I've never seen him, but something tells me he's controlling her. She could be coerced. Matilda shrugs. Or maybe she found a safer path. Your empire is a war zone. She might have chosen this unknown man over your chaos. A spark of fury lights my eyes. She wouldn't abandon me willingly. Don't you dare suggest otherwise. She lifts her hands in a mock display of innocence. You asked for intel. We delivered. If you truly believe she's a captive, you'll need cunning to pry her free. My father can help, but that depends on whether you accept his terms. I grip the folder, those photos seared into my memory. I can handle it without begging. She smiles thinly, stepping close enough that her perfume envelops me. Maybe you can, but consider how far you're prepared to go for Lori. You can't raid every fortress alone. I jerk away, knuckles whitening around the folder's edge. That's enough. I'm done with your manipulations tonight. She nods once, her gaze glimmering in the chandelier light. Good night, Alexander. Then she turns, the skirt of her crimson gown trailing as she heads back into the salon. I stand in the corridor, breath unsteady. The hush of the estate wraps around me, thick with unspoken questions. Slowly, I open the folder again, scanning the second photograph of Lori and this mysterious man. Her face is poised, but her eyes hold a flicker of heartbreak, or maybe resignation. I can't know which. My heart squeezes with a savage ache. Lori, the nurse who once brought so much warmth to my life, caught in the orbit of someone whose name I don't even know. Could she be faking compliance? Or is she living under illusions that returning to me is impossible? Gritting my teeth, I whisper, I'll find you. No matter how these pictures look, I won't let them keep you. The phone in my pocket buzzes again, likely updates on the day's raids. I ignore it, studying Lori's posture for a clue. Any sign she's forced, but the lens captured only ambiguous calm. Finally, I snap the folder shut. If forging this alliance with Matilda is my fastest route to gather enough intelligence or resources to track Lori's captor, I'll do it. But I won't let Matilda seduce me into a sham relationship. I'll keep a safe distance, mindful that the old guard demands a show of solidarity, but refusing to lose myself. Stepping into my study, I secure the door, the fire in the hearth reduced to faint embers. I sink into the leather chair, folder on the desk. My mind churns with images of Lori, the memory of her laughter, twisted now by these new revelations. If the old guard demands a wedding, maybe I can stall a little longer, push them to give me full Vincenzi support to mount a rescue. But a gnawing doubt lingers. What if, by the time I find her, she's somehow beyond my reach? I rub my eyes, letting the ember's glow play across the walls. For now, I must endure this tenuous alliance, stamp out Oleg's rebels, and hope every step brings me closer to saving the one person who truly matters. The question of who that unknown man is, how he captured Lori's trust or forced it, burns at the center of my thoughts. One day, I vow, I'll know his name, and I'll tear down whatever fortress he's built around her.
You know that feeling when a book pulls you in, wraps around you, and refuses to let go? When the tension is so thick, you swear you can feel it?
Welcome to 30 sinfully addictive romance audiobooks that will ruin your sleep.
Wow, I wasn't ready for this. One chapter in, and I'm already hooked.
Oh, you thought this was just another audiobook collection. No, sweetheart. This is the Dirty 30. Forbidden love, dangerous desires, billionaires with secrets, bad boys who bite back, and every last word is dripped in temptation.
I thought I could just listen to one chapter before bed. Now it's 2 a.m. and I need answers.
So what are you waiting for? Click the link. Start listening. Let the Dirty 30 ruin you in the best way possible.
Escape your life with Miss Tyla. Chapter 360, Nyla. I wake to a dull, familiar ache at the small of my back, the kind that makes me want to stay curled under blankets for another hour. But 7 months of pregnancy hasn't softened my resolve, not when Derek is counting on me at Stone Hospital. I drag myself up, pressing a hand to my belly to soothe the rolling tension. The baby gives a hesitant nudge, as though sensing my weariness. I dress carefully, slipping into a soft maternity blouse and comfortable flats, though neither does much for the constant pressure in my spine. I can't afford to slow down. Derek's out of the coma. He's lucid. He's talking, and I've insisted on being his primary caregiver. Some might call me stubborn. I call it a promise to a friend who nearly died on my watch. By the time I arrive at the hospital, the corridors are already bustling with early shift nurses and bleary-eyed doctors. The smell of disinfectant underlines every breath. I pass by the reception desk, offering a brief nod to a colleague. My entire focus narrows on Derek. He's in a private room near the end of the main ward, a space I personally ensured was quiet enough for proper rest, but close enough for quick intervention if needed. A nurse in scrub stands by his door, fiddling with a chart. She steps aside when she spots me approaching. "Morning, Miss Nyla," she says, smiling politely at my belly. "He's awake and waiting." I enter the room, exhaling in relief when I see Derek propped up against white pillows. A slight pallor dulls his cheeks, but he's alert, eyes bright with a flicker of the old mischief. His hair is rumpled, and the blanket pulls around his waist, revealing the lines of tension in his arms as he attempts to flex them. "You're not supposed to be here this early," he teases, voice raw from weeks of inactivity. "Thought pregnant ladies slept in." My heart tightens at the sight of him conscious, cracking jokes. "Stop it," I murmur, letting out a breathy laugh. "If I wait too long, you'd start flirting with the entire nursing staff." He gives a scratchy chuckle. "Can't blame me for exploring my options. After all, you're about to pop, and who knows if you'll still have time for me." Don't start. I rest a gentle hand on his shoulder, guiding him to lean back when he tries to sit up straighter. You're not fully recovered. How are you feeling? My question is quiet, but I watch his face for subtle clues. Over the past few days, I've memorized every flicker of discomfort, each grimace he tries to hide. Derek closes his eyes for a moment, breath trembling. Stiff everywhere, he admits. Arms still half numb if I keep it raised too long. He gestures vaguely. They said physical therapy starts in earnest today? I nod, crossing to the bedside table to check the digital monitor for vitals. His blood pressure sits within a stable range, heart rate a bit elevated. Yes, we'll begin with gentle movements, nothing too intense. I'll be with you the whole time, so don't panic. Wouldn't dream of panicking, he says, though his tone suggests otherwise. You do realize you're 7 months pregnant and still running around playing super nurse, right? There's warmth in his words, but also concern. I don't want you overextending yourself. I offer a wry smile. Can't overextend what's already stretched. I place one palm on my belly with a gentle rub. Besides, this baby likes it when I move. Standing still too long makes me ache even more. He frowns, eyes flicking to my middle. Well, if you collapse from exhaustion, I can't exactly carry you out of here. You'll just have to let me fall then, I quip, though the mental image makes me shudder. Now hush. Time for vitals. My stethoscope slides from my pocket, and I press it to his chest, listening carefully. Under the thin hospital gown, his heartbeat pounds with a steadiness that reassures me more than he knows. He returns my stethoscope joke with a lopsided grin. Better watch out. You're going to spoil me. Next time I stub a toe, I'll beg you to come fix it. I arch a brow. Next time you stub a toe, you can call the nurse on duty. I'm not your personal paramedic, but the warmth in my voice betrays how much I actually enjoy caring for him. Later in the morning, a physical therapist named Clara enters, a middle-aged woman whose gentle demeanor belies her knack for strict routines. Derek eyes her warily as she explains the plan. They'll start with simple range of motion exercises, then try sitting up in bed without major support. I hover near the foot of the bed, biting my lip. Part of me wants to take over, but I know Clara's job is crucial. Instead, I fuss over Derek's IV line, double-checking the drip. The baby stirs again, an elbow or a foot pressing against my side. I straighten, inhaling through the mild twinge. Clara draws the curtains to let in more natural light. Ready, Derek? She asks. He sets his jaw and nods, though I see flickers of uncertainty in his eyes. I step around to his left side. I'll hold your elbow, just in case. He raises a brow. Don't let me yank you off balance if I topple, okay? I snort softly. I'm bigger than I look now. I glance at my swollen belly pointedly. Clara instructs Derek to pivot his feet off the bed. He tries, breath hitching. Muscles that lay dormant for weeks rebel with small spasms. I slip a hand under his upper arm, feeling the strain ripple through him. He's trembling by the time his feet touch the floor. Easy? Clara says gently, adjusting his posture. Let me count to 3. On 3, you push from your core. Nyla helps guide your left shoulder. I brace him with steady hands meeting his gaze. We got this, I murmur. He gives a tense nod. 1, 2, 3, Clara counts. Derek grits his teeth and lifts himself upright. His face contorts, sweat beading on his forehead. My heart hammers with both worry and pride. He's up, wobbly but upright. Clara quickly checks his pulse, and I keep a firm hold on his arm. The watery sheen in his eyes betrays a mixture of frustration and relief. After a pause, we ease him back down, pulses racing all around. He exhales shakily. Feels like I ran a marathon, he mumbles. Trixa would laugh her head off if she saw me panting like this. Trixa, I echo softly, the mention of her name slicing through my chest. We're all worried. She's still missing. You've grown closer when you went into hiding? He lowers his gaze and doesn't answer my question. Any updates? I hesitate, glancing at Clara, who busies herself tidying an array of therapy tools. Lowering my voice, I lean toward Derek. Marcus had her in some forced labor site, but Jacob got intel that she was moved. Now we're guessing she's deeper in trouble. He's searching day and night. Alexander too, though he's occupied with other things. Derek's jaw tightens. Does that fiancé rumor still hold? The staff whispered about Alexander forging alliances with some powerful woman. Could that hamper the rescue? I swallow, pressing my lips together. Matilda Vincenzi, she's the rumored fiancé. I'm not sure how far it's gone, but it's definitely complicating matters. Alexander claims it's a means to gather resources for a rescue. But it's murky. Everything is... He closes his eyes, face pinched with guilt. I should have done more. If I just... You can't blame yourself for that ambush, I say firmly, adjusting the blanket that's slipped. None of us expected the kidnapping, or Marcus sending her to a mental institution. Trixa made her own decisions. She'd never want you beating yourself up like this. He nods, though the guilt remains etched on his features. Still, my gut tells me we missed something, a detail that could have saved her. I sigh, gingerly shifting my weight to ease the pressure on my back. We'll figure it out, Derek. For now, your job is to get stronger. We need you awake and functional if we're going to unravel all these conspiracies. Eventually, Clara leaves us with some homework exercises for Derek, cautioning him not to overdo it. The moment the door closes, I perch on the edge of his bed, quietly adjusting the angle of his IV drip. My mind roams back to the day I found him unconscious from that shootout. Trixa gone, Marcus rumored dead. The chaos never seems to end. I keep picturing Trixa's face, Derek admits, voice trembling with suppressed emotion. She was so determined to prove something that day, to hand over evidence, and I couldn't protect her. Reaching out, I take his hand in both of mine, ignoring the mild cramp that ripples across my belly. She's tough. If anyone can survive forced labor or a twisted captivity, it's Trixa. And we're not giving up. Not me, not Jacob, not the entire hospital staff who know and love her. He squeezes my fingers weakly. What about you? Juggling a baby on the way? Chasing down leads, caring for me? Don't you ever worry about your own health? I force a small smile. Every minute. But thinking of Trixa and Lori keeps me from staying in bed, whining about backaches. Sometimes I feel guilty, like I want a calm pregnancy, yet the city is on fire with conspiracies, forced labor rumors, everything. It's too big for me. His eyes flick to my bump. Nyla, you need to slow down at least a little. If you stress yourself into an early labor. I cut him off with a shaky laugh. Don't you worry. This baby is determined to show up when it wants. Until then, I have a hospital that needs me. I check the digital monitor again, noting his heart rate settling to a calmer rhythm. I should let you rest, but I'll be back after lunch to help with your next round of therapy. He offers a faint grin. Sure, I'll just be lying here, being a model patient. I raise a teasing brow. Try not to flirt with too many nurses while I'm gone. He manages a chuckle, though weariness lines his face. I slip out into the corridor, letting the door click shut behind me. My hand automatically drifts to my belly. The baby feels heavier by the hour, pressing on my ribs and spine. A pang of worry creeps in, worry that all this stress might affect the child. A doctor passing by notices me leaning against the wall. She frowns, tapping my shoulder gently. "Nyla, you shouldn't be overexerting," she says, concern evident in her voice. "You know the guidelines for late pregnancy: rest, hydration, minimal stress." I try to wave her off. "I'm fine. Just needed a moment." She studies me, not fully convinced, but eventually sighs. "At least promise to check in if you get contractions or dizziness, yes?" I nod, swallowing a lump in my throat. "Promise." She moves on, leaving me alone with my phone. I unlock the screen, scanning for texts. Nothing from Jacob or Alexander. I inhale sharply. Maybe no news is good news, but the tightness in my chest argues otherwise. I picture Trixa forced to labor under guard, Lori still missing with no real updates, and Alexander rumored to be half engaged. The entire swirl is enough to make me dizzy. Remembering Derek's heartbreak, I straighten my shoulders. I can't afford to crumble. We've come too far to falter now. After a brief lunch break, where I mostly push food around on my plate, appetite lost, I return to Derek's room for his next therapy session. I find him propped in a wheelchair, arms hugging a fuzzy blanket, a comically oversized hospital robe draped across his chest. A nurse stands nearby, but Derek gestures me over with an eager wave. "Hey, there's my personal caretaker," he jokes. "Help me with this blanket? It's attacking me like a wild beast." I can't help but laugh. You say that about everything nowadays, from the bed sheets to the IV lines. Still, I move to adjust the blanket, tucking it behind the wheelchair so it doesn't tangle his arms. He tries to rotate the wheels himself, testing new mobility. If I can't amuse you with silly jokes, who will? I smile, heart softening. I appreciate the effort. We share a quiet moment, the tension of the day receding. How about I push you to the courtyard for some fresh air, if you're up for it? His eyes light up. Fresh air? Absolutely. I'm tired of staring at these four walls. I glance at the drip line. Everything looks stable. Let's do it then. Maneuvering behind the wheelchair, I gently turn him toward the corridor. He teases me about my slow pace. I retort that I'm hauling a baby, plus a grown man. We share a couple of wry chuckles, the sound echoing off pastel-colored walls. In the courtyard, we find a shady spot near potted ferns. The midday sun beams across the lawn, but we stay in cool shadow. Derek tries to shift himself upright, determined to appear strong, though I spot the tremor in his arms. He glances at me, then at my belly, a flicker of gratitude passing over his face. "You know," he says quietly, "I always thought I'd be the caretaker if something like this happened. Letting you rest, me playing the hero. Instead, you're the one saving me daily." I brush invisible dust off his shoulder, smiling gently. We all take turns being strong, Derek. Right now, I'm just repaying the kindness you showed me when I first came to Stone Hospital. You never treated me like lesser staff. He snorts. Probably because I needed you to find me a new stethoscope every other day. Remember how often I lost them? The memory draws a genuine laugh from me. I do. I used to threaten to chain your stethoscope around your neck. Seems like ages ago. We sit in companionable silence. A breeze rustles the potted plants, bringing the faint perfume of hospital flowers. For a moment, life feels almost normal. As evening creeps in, I guide Derek back inside. He's exhausted but tries to hide it, brow damp with sweat. After helping him onto the bed, I arrange a comfortable meal for him. Light soup and soft bread, nothing that strains his recovering system. He manages to feed himself with shaky determination. I stifle the urge to jump in, letting him reclaim independence. Before I leave for the night, a young nurse corners me in the corridor, wide-eyed. "Miss Nyla, did you hear? There's more talk about forced labor camps. The news says there's been a string of secret raids. They found prisoners in some remote farmland. My pulse spikes. More farmland? That means Trixa could be discovered in the next wave. An irrational excitement flutters in me as I murmur the last sentence under my breath. Then comes the dread. What if she's deeper? Or they missed her? The nurse nods fervently. I hope so. Everyone's worried about this labor camps. The staff is praying she's found soon. Let's hope, I murmur, pushing aside the swirl of fear. Thank you for letting me know. With that, I duck back into Derek's room, offering him the rumor in hushed excitement. He sets the soup spoon aside, eyes shining with the new hope. If they keep raiding, maybe they'll stumble onto Trixa. She might be minutes away from rescue. I place my hand on his, swallowing the knot in my throat. Jacob and Alexander won't stop until she's safe, and Lori too. We just have to hold on. He nods, drawing shaky breaths. The combination of hope and exhaustion flickers across his expression. Tomorrow might bring better news, he says, half to himself. I straighten the sheet over his legs, pressing a gentle hand on his shoulder. I'll be back first thing. We'll tackle more therapy, get you stronger. And if I hear any updates about Trixa overnight, I'll let you know immediately. He manages a half smile. Don't overdo it. That baby's not going to wait if you stress yourself to pieces. A pang of worry zings through my belly, but I hide it behind a wry grin. Trust me, I have help. Now rest or I'll swap your soup for black coffee tomorrow. He feigns horror, curling deeper under the blanket. I flick off the overhead light, leaving only the soft glow of a bedside lamp. As I slip out, the hush of the hospital envelops me again. In the dim corridor, I exhale long and slow, letting the day's tension unravel from my shoulders. My baby squirms in response, perhaps sensing that my mind is a vortex of concerns. I vow silently that by the time I walk these halls tomorrow, I'll bring Derek something hopeful. A rumor, a lead, a glimpse of Trixa's location, anything. And if none of it arrives, I'll still stand by him, ensuring he recovers enough to stand on his own. Because that's what we do. We hold each other steady when the rest of the world falls apart.
Chapter 3, 161. Jacob. It's barely dawn when I step out of the elevator into Stone Hospital's executive corridor. My reflection flickers along the polished marble floors, and I note the faint hollows under my eyes. Another night of restless planning, phone calls that led nowhere, and the unrelenting weight of Trixa and Lori's disappearances. But I have no time to wallow. Julie Stone, my sister, awaits me in the conference room. I can practically feel her impatience crackling through the walls. I push open the tall double doors, bracing myself for the day's first challenge. Sunlight spills across a long wooden table, glinting off silver nameplates set for the board meeting we'll hold later. Instead of board members, I find only Julie, perched at the far end with a neat stack of files and an iPad. She's wearing a crisp blouse, her dark hair pulled into a low bun that highlights the sharp angles of her face angles that mirror our shared heritage. She looks up, meeting my gaze. "You're late," she remarks, though a smile tugs at her lips. I glance at my watch, 7 minutes past our scheduled time. "Sorry," I mutter, crossing the distance in long strides. "Didn't sleep well." No reason to hide the truth. She can see the fatigue in my posture. She taps the screen of her iPad, not unkindly. "I assumed as much. We have a full schedule, media coverage, philanthropic angles, staff morale, and the board conference at 10. Are you ready?" She arches a brow in challenge, which I know is her way of nudging me to stay on my toes. I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I sink into the seat across from her, exhaling as I run a hand through my hair. "Go on. Tell me what the media's done with the story of that forced labor camp rescue we aided." Julie's eyes flash with tension. They're hammering the hospital's name, as if Stone Hospital staged a vigilante operation when the news got out. Rumors are circulating. The local news wants an interview to clarify the extent of your involvement. Some are calling you a hero for saving oppressed workers. Others frame it as you meddling in paramilitary raids. The board is split on how to spin it. But personally, she squares her shoulders, I think it's an opportunity. I rub my temple, remembering the infiltration that freed a handful of captives, Trixa not among them. Opportunity for what? If we start crowing about Stone's philanthropic heart, we risk drawing retaliation from criminals. They might strike back, sabotage our expansions, or target me personally. Her voice turns brisk with conviction. Better to control the narrative than let the rumors run wild. We can highlight Stone Hospital's mission to help the vulnerable. Maybe we claim we're funding the camp victims' medical treatments and reintroducing them to society. People will see us as compassionate, not reckless. I clamp my jaw, uncertain. I don't want to invite more violence onto these walls. We've had enough with sabotage and breakaways. But you could be right. Maybe we do need to show we stand for something bigger. Julie leans forward, resting her forearms on the table. Exactly. Standing idle while the press conjures wild theories is worse. We highlight that the hospital is about saving lives no matter the threat. Dad would have done the same, you know? A flicker of emotion churns in my gut at the mention of our late father. He believed in bold stances, but that was a different time, I say quietly, letting the memory slip away. All right, we'll manage the narrative carefully, but let's not put an actual target on my head, or Trixa's or Laurie's. Julie nods, rifling through a folder. I have potential statements drafted. We can talk details after the board meeting, but first we have that short hospital tour, remember? The staff wants reassurance that leadership isn't consumed by fiascos. I blow out a breath. Sure, let's get it done. We head down to the main lobby, where the air hums with the early rush of staffers clocking in. The hustle of wheelchairs, squeaking carts, and fast-paced footsteps hits me in a wave of familiarity. But there's an undercurrent of anxiety I can't ignore, whispers trailing me. Sideways glances that say, is Jacob ignoring the chaos outside these walls? Julie steps beside me, scanning the area. Don't just walk. Talk to them, she urges under her breath, wearing a practiced smile that exudes confidence. So I steel myself, offering a warm greeting to the reception nurse, to a pair of resident doctors fresh off an overnight shift. My mouth stretches into a forced smile, but I infuse as much sincerity as I can muster. Thank you for your dedication, I tell them softly. I know these are trying times. We'll get through it together. A few staff members nod, relief flickering in their eyes. Others remain cautious, uncertain. We press on, checking a newly renovated wing devoted to pediatric care, polished floors, bright murals of cartoon animals. The usual cheer of such a place feels dampened by the adult tension overshadowing the hospital's atmosphere. Suddenly, a young nurse detaches from the front desk, eyes darting around before cornering me. "Mr. Stone," she whispers, her voice laced with concern. "Is it true about Miss Laurie? The rumor says she's been kidnapped?" My heart clenches. We suspect she's in trouble, I admit carefully, mindful of the staff's morale. We're doing everything possible to bring her back safely. Her gaze flickers with compassion. She always helped us, especially with new protocols. I hope she's all right. She's strong. We'll find her, I say, but the words taste hollow. I give a reassuring nod, then catch Julie's eye. She gestures that we need to keep moving. As we walk, staffers quietly press me with half-questions about Trixa, or the forced labor story swirling in the news. I answer with measured hope, acknowledging the complexities without fueling panic. The tension in my shoulders grinds with each inquiry. Julie slips her arm through mine briefly, a gesture of solidarity. "You're handling it," she murmurs. "Don't let them see your doubts." I grit my teeth, I'll manage." By mid-morning, we gather in a smaller conference room for the scheduled board meeting. Half the seats are occupied by stony-faced directors, the others by middle management reps with anxious expressions. The moment I step inside, conversation fizzles, replaced by expectant silence. I take my seat at the head of the table, Julie to my right. A stocky board member, Mr. Gainsborough, clears his throat and launches into the first topic. "Mr. Stone, the hospital is battered in the media for this secret raid that overshadowed standard policy. We didn't authorize paramilitary involvement or Stone staff championing vigilante rescues. The rumors are going wild." A prickle of annoyance tightens my chest. I never said it was paramilitary. I had a personal stake in saving. Another board member, Miss Chen, interrupts. "The point is, the press lumps Stone Hospital's name into everything. Some of us support your moral stance, but the others see it as recklessness that drags us deeper into scandal. We want to know if you plan to continue these covert operations." A flicker of anger surges in my veins. They're second-guessing the moral fight, as though letting forced labor victims rot would be better for PR. Trixa is practically family. She saved Nyla's life, and the hospital owes her. I'm not apologizing for taking steps to find her. Stone Hospital was built to protect lives, not cower in boardrooms. The tension in the room crackles. Gainsborough adjusts his tie, glancing around for allies. Yes, Stone is about saving lives, but the Manor secret infiltration, overshadowing hospital policy with outside forces, makes us look unprofessional. The remaining donors are antsy. They're asking if we're a medical institution or a rogue Justice League. I slam my palm against the table, frustration erupting. We stand for something bigger than just medicine. If people are in danger, I won't sit idle. If donors don't like that, they can keep their money. I won't betray everything we stand for. Silence falls like a heavy curtain. Some members shift uncomfortably, while a few exchange approving nods. Julie folds her hands calmly, letting me speak. Gainsborough tries to muster a rebuttal, but I've had enough. I push my chair back, anger pounding in my temples. "I'm done with this debate," I say in a clipped tone. "I have a hospital to run, expansions to manage, staff who need reassurance. You all can brood over the PR angles without me." Snatching up my notes, I stride out the door, ignoring Gainsborough's protest. Tension hums in my veins, but a flicker of satisfaction glimmers. At least I made my stance clear. I retreat to my office, shutting the door with a terse click. My phone pings with messages from Clark, the ex-FBI contact leading the investigation into forced labor sites. Flicking through the notifications, I see references to a potential new location in the region, but each line is littered with unconfirmed and pending further intel. My frustration surfaces in a low growl. I punch Clark's number pacing behind my desk. He answers on the second ring. "Jacob, I was about to call you." "Tell me you found something definitive," I say, letting the impatience sharpen my tone. "A location, a name, anything." Clark sighs. "We have rumors of a site in the southwestern farmland belt, but we can't confirm if Trixa is there. We're sending a recon team soon. I'll keep you posted." "Soon isn't good enough," I mutter, raking a hand through my hair. "We need to move faster." "There's a risk. We don't want a shootout that kills the captives," Clark warns. "I get your urgency, but we can't rush blindly." I swallow the protest building in my throat. "I know," I whisper, tension draining from my posture. "But each day we wait, Trixa could be suffering. Keep me updated." We end the call. My phone in hand, I dial Alexander next, but his line goes straight to voicemail. I scowl, suspecting he's tangled in his own empire's meltdown or burying himself in that rumored fiancé arrangement. "Damn it, Alexander," I mutter. "Answer your phone." No luck. I set the phone aside, leaning against the desk. So many threads remain loose. Trixa's captivity, Laurie's unknown whereabouts, the hospital's battered PR. My shoulders ache from the weight of it all. A quick glance at the time shows it's nearing midday. Hunger gnaws at me, but It's overshadowed by the tension coiled in my gut. Then I remember Nyla texted earlier, wanting a quick lunch in the hospital cafe. Maybe a few minutes with her can ease the storm in my head. I navigate busy corridors, skillfully avoiding Gainsborough, who I spot hurrying the opposite direction. The cafe bustles with staff grabbing quick bites. At a small table near a corner, I see Nyla, shoulders drooping with weariness, her pregnant belly prominent. She perks up when she spots me approaching. I slide into the seat across from her, exhaling. "You look how I feel," I say, half joking. She snorts, though dark circles line her eyes. Caring for Derek is non-stop. He's awake and joking, but the therapy drains him. I can't leave him alone in that state. She glances down at the limp sandwich on her plate. "You?" I shrug. Board fiasco, staff morale woes, media hounding me about the camp rescue. The usual. I rub my temple, then lean forward, lowering my voice. "Any fresh rumors on Laurie's whereabouts?" Nyla's gaze flicks around, ensuring no eavesdroppers. "There's a cryptic tip from some anonymous caller. They claim they saw a woman matching Laurie's description being dragged by a tall man outside a city club. No real proof, but the details match her hair color and build. Could be her, or it could be a hoax." My jaw clenches. Every tip we chase ends up uncertain. This is more of the same, but I can't ignore it. I let out a slow breath, meeting Nyla's tired eyes. I hate feeling powerless. She touches my hand briefly, gentle understanding in her gaze. We're all stuck in the same limbo. Derek asks daily about Trixa. I update him, but we have nothing concrete. And if Alexander's got personal crises, we can't rely on him fully either. I shake my head, frustration simmering. He's not picking up my calls. Probably tangling with the Vincenzi family or something. My mind flickers to the memory of him possibly forging a fiancé arrangement. But hey, I guess we keep pushing. Clark found another farmland site for Trixa. Maybe that leads somewhere. Her fingers tighten around a paper napkin. I pray it does. I can't stand picturing Trixa in a forced labor hell. We lapse into silence, half-heartedly picking at our lunches. The hum of staff chatter surrounds us, but the tension in our little corner is palpable. At last, Nyla stands with a groan, hand pressed to her lower back. I need to get back upstairs. Derek's therapy session is soon. You. I push to my feet. I'll slog through more board nonsense, then check in on expansions. We can't let the hospital unravel. She musters a small smile. We got this. Together. Together, I echo. Her determined expression buoys me for a moment. Then she waddles off, fatigue etched in every step. The day blurs into a series of draining meetings and tense calls. Gainsborough corners me in a corridor at one point, pressing about the philanthropic spin. I brush him off, still raw from the morning board fiasco. Then I hole up in the administrative office, poring over documents related to Stone Hospital expansion's new wings, advanced care units. All of it needs stable funding, but donor confidence wavers with each new scandal. The overhead lights hum, and the sky outside dims into twilight. By the time I look at the clock, it's already well past sundown. My mind pulses with exhaustion. Paperwork for expansions lies half-finished. My phone remains silent, no new calls from Alexander or Clark. I fight the urge to slam a fist on the desk. Instead, I force myself to methodically sort the files. Stone Hospital must remain stable, if only so we can keep searching for Trixa and Laurie. Around 9:30, a security guard taps on my door, expression faintly worried. Mr. Stone, just checking if you're all right. Most staff left hours ago. I muster a weary grin. I'm wrapping up. Thanks for your concern. He steps back, letting me gather my things. I flick off the overhead lights, leaving only my desk lamp's soft glow. The deserted corridors hush around me as I exit, footsteps echoing. On my way to the parking garage, I pass a row of darkened patient rooms. My heart clenches, recalling Trixa's spirited presence, Laurie's unstoppable energy, They should be here, teasing me about being a workaholic. Instead, they're lost in some labyrinth of captivity or vanished underworld networks. The swirling uncertainty stings. At the elevator, I pause, phone in hand, rechecking messages. A hollow sense of disappointment greets me. No new tips, no revelations. With a sigh, I jab the elevator button, stepping into the empty car. The doors glide shut with a metallic hush. As I descend, I vow to intensify every effort tomorrow. Push the board to accept a philanthropic PR angle that might flush out clues, hound Clark for more thorough raids, keep calling Alexander until he responds, anything that might break the deadlock. The elevator dings at the garage level. I step out into dim overhead lighting, the smell of concrete and a faint echo of passing cars overhead. My reflection appears briefly in a tinted sedan's window. I look worn, older than I remember, but determination still simmers in my eyes. I slip into my car and rest my head against the steering wheel for a moment, inhaling the hush. The day hammered me from every angle, staff seeking reassurance, board members seeking to muzzle me, leads on Trixa and Lori still intangible. But giving up isn't an option. However battered I feel, I can't afford to slow down. Starting the engine, I pull out of the parking space, my mind cycling through tomorrow's tasks. If the philanthropic spin can be done carefully, we might gain enough goodwill to overshadow any criminal's threats. If Trixa's farmland lead turns up real, maybe she'll be home soon. And if we can track that rumor about Lori being spotted with some tall man, we might save her before she's lost for good. Despite the fatigue that hovers like a storm cloud, a thread of resolve twines through my chest. Stone Hospital has been my responsibility since I took over. Nyla and Derek are counting on me. Trixa and Lori need rescuing. If the rest of the world sees me as a reckless vigilante, so be it. I'd rather be called reckless than watch more innocents vanish in the shadows. I drive out of the parking garage into the night. City lights sprawl around me, neon and halogen blending into a kaleidoscope. My phone remains silent, but the vow I carry is deafening. Tomorrow, I'll push harder. Tomorrow I'll find a way to keep Stone Hospital standing tall while we fight for Trixa and Lori's freedom. Tomorrow I refuse to let fear or politics slow me down. You won't know what hit you, baby. I'm going to take you, break you, and make you mine. And when I'm done, you're...
Now hold on just a minute.
What?
I got something to say.
What's the meaning of this?
Now you may be some fine-looking white boy.
Got that right, baby. It takes hard work.
And you might got the money.
Fat stacks, baby, to spoil you with.
But that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up to you without a fight.
A fight?
You want some limp wilting flowers? Go to historical romance, baby. But you want sassy and spicy strong black queens that tame their alpha male bad boys?
I think our listeners do.
Then you go on and look at Miss Tyla's Bougie Brides and Billionaires audio bundle.
50 hours of me whispering the most romantic things in your ears. Fake marriages, alpha male billionaires, strong black women, steamy scenes that will make your eyes roll back. And everything wrapped up in a happily ever after that will put you in an afterglow.
Use code SAVE40 to get 40% off this bundle and any other digital product in Miss Tyla's store.
Unabridged and uncut.
Just like you?
You're gonna have to find out.
Tyla Walker Romances. Escape your life with sassy romance.
Chapter 362, Lori. The moment I open my eyes, I notice how dark the suite feels, even though a sliver of early morning light edges in from behind velvet drapes. My heart flutters, uneasy and quick. I try to remind myself that I'm in Lucius's mansion and that this is my life now. The bed beneath me is soft and far too luxurious, the duvet thick enough to smother half my nightmares. I push the duvet aside, letting my feet touch the plush carpet, and a shiver trembles through me. The air carries the faint scent of lavender, almost medicinal in its intensity. My fingers press into the mattress, wishing it felt more like home, wishing that any piece of this place would feel normal. But it never does. I rise unsteadily, scanning the ornate furniture, the gilded mirror on the far wall, the door leading to the rest of the mansion. It's usually locked from the outside, but now a creeping sense of curiosity gnaws at me. I've spent days, or has it been weeks, cooped up in here, half expecting Lucius to barge in with fresh demands. Instead, he's allowed me this bizarre freedom to roam certain halls, always under watch, never truly free. There's a swirl in my belly that has nothing to do with hunger. I ache for information about Alexander, about Trixa and Nyla, about any rescue. Every staffer I've tried to question keeps their head bowed, offering only murmured pleasantries. Lucius acts as if my presence is a trifling matter. Last time he came, he simply smirked, commented on how well I fill out the new clothes he'd provided, then left. That was nearly 2 days ago. I step toward the door, the handle isn't locked. A shaky exhale leaves my lips. Maybe I can slip down the corridor, see if I can glean a morsel of conversation that might unravel what's happening behind these walls. My pulse thuds in my ears. The idea is risky, one of his watchers might spot me, but ignorance is worse. Easing the door open, I glance left and right. An imposing bodyguard usually stands near the corridor's end, but for once I see no one. Only dim sconces casting shadows on walls lined with massive paintings. The hush feels ominous. I swallow the fear, stepping out on silent feet. My skin prickles, each hair on my neck lifting. I advance, hugging the wall. A single door stands partway open on the right. Some kind of library or study, judging by the flicker of a lamp inside. Voices drift through that crack, low and urgent. My heart flutters. This could be my chance. I creep closer, pressing myself to the cold marble column that frames the doorway. The old me, Lori, the nurse, would never have tried something so reckless. But captivity changes a person. I inch near enough to hear distinct words. "She's in that suite," a man snarls, clearly upset. "If he's not going to use her, why not let us do it?" A second voice snaps back. "He refuses, says she's off limits, like she's some personal amusement." My throat tightens. They must mean me. I steady my breathing, straining to catch every syllable. Then he's losing focus. The first man insists. "We wanted leverage over Alexander Sokolov. We planned to threaten or trade her something. Instead, Lucius pampers her." A chill seeps into my bones. They definitely want me as leverage, but apparently Lucius hasn't followed through. A rough laugh follows. "He calls her his little prize," a third voice remarks. "Not exactly the wedge we agreed on. We're all risking exposure, and he's too busy playing house." There's a scrape of a chair, a thud as someone sets a glass down. I take half a step forward, wanting to see their faces, but common sense halts me. "Well, he's got to decide," the second man growls. "Is she a tool or a toy? If we want Alexander's surrender?" A new set of footsteps echoes through the library. My heart jolts. The men inside go silent. Then one utters a low greeting. The air tenses. "Any reason you're meddling in my affairs?" It's Lucius. The cold edge in his voice is unmistakable. My stomach twists. Silence stretches. Then that first man tries to explain. "We're just concerned. The plan was clear, but you're..." Lucius cuts him off with a dangerous hush. "If you want to question my strategy, you do so at your own peril." A second man steps up, voice barely reined in. "We expected a threat to Sokolov, forcing him to kneel." "But you're coddling the woman. You should be using her." I can almost hear Lucius's smirk. "Who says I need her to break Alexander?" A clink of glass, maybe him taking a sip of something. "Let me remind you, I'm not reliant on trivial hostages. She's an indulgence, not a bargaining chip." A hush falls, laced with tension so thick I can taste it. "This isn't what we agreed on. You're ignoring the bigger strategy." The man's tone verges on desperation. "We wanted Sokolov vulnerable. Yes, Lori is prime leverage. We risked a public snatch for this reason." Lucius sets his glass down with a decisive thud. "I won't repeat myself. She belongs to me for my own reasons. Alexander means nothing. I'll use her when I want to, and I can discard her any time when I don't have use of her. Only I can use her. My lungs ache for air, and I realize I've been half holding my breath. The occupant near the door curses under his breath, muttering something about foolish attachments. Lucius's voice drips with menace. Another word about my personal decisions, and you'll discover how quickly I dispose of annoyances. Now get out. A chair scrapes violently. Footsteps pound across the floor, heading toward the corridor. Panic jolts me. If they storm out, I'll be caught standing like a spy. My heart slams in my chest, and I lurch backward, scanning for a hiding spot. An alcove behind a tall potted plant beckons. I duck behind it, cringing as the leaves rustle. 3 men emerge, their scowls evident. One spits, "He's losing it," before they stalk off the opposite way. I stay frozen, limbs taut until their footsteps fade. Another voice remains inside the library, Lucius presumably. My mind screams that I should slink back to my suite, but dread roots me to the spot. Then I hear him shift closer to the door, speaking to someone. "Fetch me that ledger." I have to ensure no one else tries to interfere. His tone darkens. "And tell the staff not to disturb me unless it's about her. I'll handle her myself when I'm ready." I seize my chance, creeping away from the plant. Each step is agony, certain I'll be spotted. At the hall's corner, I break into a near-silent dash, desperate to return to my suite. By the time I slip back through my suite door, I'm shaking so badly I can hardly grip the handle. My entire body quivers with pent-up terror. I shove the door shut and collapse against it, breath ragged. Lucius's men want to use me to corner Alexander. Lucius, however, sees me as a toy. The dread pulses in my belly. Which is more dangerous, being a hostage or an obsession? Either scenario ends with me locked here. In a flash, my stomach roils, sweat beads on my forehead. I rush to the bathroom too far. I manage to grab the small wastebasket near the dresser, empty aside from a crumpled tissue, and I vomit violently. Nothing but bile. My entire torso wrenches, tears burning paths down my cheeks. I flop sideways, knees on the carpet. "Too much," I whisper hoarsely, pressing a clammy hand to my forehead. My reflection in the floor-length mirror across the room is pitiful. Hunched, eyes red, hair wild. That's when the swirl of half-buried worries resurfaces. Missed period, tender breasts, constant exhaustion. Could it really be stress? Or am I pregnant with Alexander's child? The thought sends fresh horror throbbing through me, pregnant, under Lucius's control with no recourse. My arms wrap around my belly, half in protective reflex, half in raw fear. If I carry Alexander's baby, Lucius might decide there's no better leverage. Or maybe he'd see it as a threat to his sense of ownership. I have no illusions about how monstrous he can be. A wave of dizziness hits, and I slump onto my side, panting. After a torturous minute, I crawl to the bathroom sink, cupping water in my palms to rinse the sour taste from my mouth. My gaze snags on the mirror, reading every line of worry etched across my face. I spit again, voice trembling. "Hold it together." I wipe my mouth with a towel. "You're not certain you're pregnant. Don't jump to extremes. But the signs..." I remember the last time we were together, Alexander's arms around me in the dark and the way he held me as if it was our last moment together. We weren't careful. Now here I stand, forced to guess. My stomach churns at the memory of Lucius's men discussing how to use me. Time crawls in that gilded prison. I barely sleep. The next morning, a loud knock on my door jolts me from half slumber. By the time I'm upright, a guard swings the door open, and a stern-faced woman in a doctor's coat steps through, accompanied by another guard with an even stonier expression. She sets down a sleek black medical case on the coffee table, glancing between me and the guard. "Lucius wants to ensure you're not ill," she says in a clipped tone, pulling out a blood pressure cuff. "Says you fainted. Her eyes, though brisk, flick with something like sympathy. I stand there, hugging myself. The guard looms at the threshold, arms folded. My mind screams to act normal, not to betray the swirling terror. She gestures for me to sit on the couch, and I oblige, perching on the edge as she unrolls the cuff. "Arm, please," she says. I hold it out, heartbeat thudding. The cuff tightens with a hiss of Velcro, and she touches the stethoscope to the crook of my elbow. "Deep breaths," she murmurs, "and relax if you can." My laugh comes out bitter. Relax, right, but I do my best to slow my breathing. She jots a few notes on a notepad, then removes the cuff, tucking it away. "Lucius mentioned you vomited," she says. Her eyes slide to the guard, then back to me as if she can't speak freely. "Have you had recurring nausea, dizziness, possibly other symptoms?" A tremor goes through me. "Lots of stress, hard to eat," I manage, swallowing. "I fainted from that, I guess." If she suspects pregnancy, I can't let her broadcast it. The guard's presence prickles the air. She nods slowly, taking out a small syringe. I need a quick blood draw, just standard checks, iron levels, blood sugar, anything that might cause fainting. She motions for my arm. My heart wobbles in my chest. I can't protest, so I extend it. She ties a tourniquet, wipes a spot with alcohol, then slides the needle in. My breath stutters at the sharp pinch. The guard watches impassively as bright red blood fills the tiny vial. My stomach twists, praying she doesn't run an HCG test. But maybe that's precisely why Lucius sent her. She withdraws the needle, pressing gauze to the puncture. "We'll test this in the in-house lab. Lucius wants results soon." She glances at me, voice softening. "If you experience more severe symptoms, ask the guard to fetch me." "Right," I whisper, cradling my arm. My eyes linger on the vial of blood she tucks into her case. For a split second, I catch a flicker of something, pity, in her gaze. Then she snaps the case shut, stands and heads for the door with the guard at her heels. The moment they're gone, I sit there, heart pounding. If she does check for pregnancy, the truth might blow up in my face. Or maybe she'll hush it, I don't know. My gut churns, tears threatening. I rub my arms to rid myself of the lingering chill. When the results come back hours later, a staffer I barely recognize shuffles in, file in hand. He keeps his gaze low, reading from a page. "Your test is negative for any major issues. Not pregnant. Must be stress." He glances at the guard behind him, then back at me. "So, no concerns." I feel my muscles loosen, tension evaporating in a dizzy swirl. So that's the official story. Negative. But a splinter of doubt remains. My body's signals can't all be imagined. Maybe the doctor didn't test for HCG, or maybe Lucius demanded a certain outcome. The staffer barely meets my gaze as he hurries out, leaving me half in shock, half in cautious relief. The rest continues as before. I slump into an armchair, burying my face in my hands. The mansion's hush feels heavier. If the official line is negative, I must hope it's true. But a flicker of suspicion burns in my gut. What if Lucius demanded a negative result? That staffer's nervous posture suggested deeper secrets. Late that afternoon, I try to rest, letting the quiet lull me into dozing. Hours pass. When I wake, the lamp casts a warm glow over the suite's corners, and a sealed envelope rests on my pillow. My heart stutters. I snatch it up, scanning for any indication of who left it. Nothing. Inside is a slip that looks exactly like the lab form, but the word at the top is positive HCG. My breath catches. The test is positive. A short note is scrawled along the margin. "You owe me one." My pulse pounds so hard I taste copper. Confusion tears at me. Two contradictory results. Who's lying? The official staffer said no in front of a guard. This new slip says positive, accompanied by a cryptic message that suggests a hidden ally or a manipulator. Did someone manipulate the official results to keep Lucius in the dark? Or is this slip the fake, designed to unravel me with fear? My hands shake. I tear the slip to bits, bury it in the wastebasket, mind spinning through every scenario. If I truly am pregnant, I have to hide it. If I'm not, then who wants me to think I am? My head throbs. Dinner time comes and goes. I pick at the food, appetite lost to the swirling dread. The next day drags by in a blur of footfalls in the corridor, mild chores from staff who arrive and depart without meeting my gaze. Lucius remains unseen, and I can't decide if that's a blessing or a curse. At night, I sit by the window staring at the moonlit gardens. My palm lingers over my abdomen. I whisper, "Alexander, if you're out there, do you have any idea?" My eyes sting with tears. I picture him searching for me, or maybe losing hope, entangled in another woman. I close my eyes and let the tears fall. What if he's truly moved on? Hours later, footsteps in the hallway jerk me from half sleep. I jolt upright, heart pounding, but the steps recede quickly. No one enters. I realize I'm drenched in a cold sweat. My arms encircle my waist, trembling. Muttering to myself, I stand and begin a restless pacing. The confusion about the contradictory test results eats at me like acid. If I am pregnant, the child is at risk every second I remain in Lucius's domain. If I'm not, then my body is buckling under pure stress, which hardly helps. I want to believe I can keep it together, but each day erodes a piece of my sanity. Leaning against the bed's post, I recall the men's conversation from the library. "Use the woman," they said. "We risked a public snatch." Eventually, exhaustion crushes me. I flop onto the bed, curling my knees up, hugging them tight. The suite's warmth feels suffocating, so I crawl under the duvet to hide from the world. My eyelids droop, though images swirl in my mind's eye. A half-dream claims me. I see myself in a hospital gown, straining to protect my belly while figures with no faces press in, demanding I yield the child to them. Lucius stands behind them, arms folded, that mocking grin plastered on his face. I wake with a strangled sob, chest tight. Morning is a dull ache of repetition. I roam the suite, rummage for any item that might help me escape or confirm the truth about my condition. Every drawer is curated, containing nothing of real use. The bathroom yields only normal toiletries, no contraband. A quiet knock at midday announces a meal tray. The staffer sets it down. I inch closer, clearing my throat. "Can you talk? Please, I need to ask something, or can you do me a favor?" His eyes widen in alarm, flicking toward the door where a guard presumably lurks. He shakes his head once, almost imperceptibly, and whispers, "You owe me one. Remember." My heart leaps. Is he the same person who left the positive slip? Before I can question further, he bows his head and rushes out. The phrase stuns me into silence. Then the door closes, locking me in again. If that staffer is telling the truth, I might indeed be pregnant, and he might be risking his safety to protect me from Lucius discovering it. Afternoon blurs with more speculation. My body feels heavy, drained. That swirl in my stomach returns, but not enough to retch. The mental strain dwarfs all else. By twilight, I slump in the armchair, gaze distant. Is it safer to trust the negative result or the positive slip? If Lucius demanded a negative, that means he suspects nothing. If the real test is positive, it means I carry a piece of Alexander's life inside me, a life I must shield from every threat in these walls. A frantic urge seizes me. I need a plan. Hiding a pregnancy for months is nearly impossible. Maybe I can't wait for rescue. Maybe I have to slip out under the cloak of night. But the memory of the locked gates, the armed guards, the labyrinth of corridors kills that hope. I rub my eyes, cursing under my breath. My reflection in the room's mirror is gaunt, shoulders hunched. This place erodes me daily. If not for the chance of carrying Alexander's child, I might let despair swallow me, but something fierce stirs in my chest. If a baby is truly inside me, I refuse to let Lucius twist that into a weapon. Midnight hush descends again. The suite is silent except for my ragged breathing. I slip onto the bed, curling onto my side, pressing a hand protectively over my midsection. My thoughts drift to Trixa and Derek, to Stone Hospital, to the bombing, then to Alexander himself, how we parted, how I never said a final goodbye. My throat tightens. Eventually, I drift into a drowsy half-sleep. My last conscious notion is a vow. Keep searching for clues. Keep watching for that staffer who said, "You owe me one." Keep hope that either the pregnancy test was false or someone is shielding the real result. And if rescue doesn't come soon, I'll muster the courage to create my own chance to flee. But in the moments before I fully succumb to sleep, the door handle gives a faint rattle, as though someone's testing it from outside. My pulse leaps. I remain still, feigning slumber, heart pounding in my ears. No one enters. Another minute passes, then footsteps fade. I release a trembling breath. Pressing my palm to my abdomen, I shut my eyes and let the swirl of exhaustion claim me. Either I'm pregnant and forced to hide it, or the false slip is a twisted game. Neither option spares me from Lucius's domain. Fear and confusion knot in my chest. Tomorrow might bring new horrors, but I cling to the faintest spark of defiance because staying sane is my only weapon. The final conscious flicker in my mind is Alexander's name, a silent plea that if he's out there, he won't give up searching. Darkness envelops me, carrying me into restless dreams where the truth remains elusive, but the child in my dreams, if it exists, is a secret I cradle against all odds.